Greetings and salutations, friends. Sargon is not here this week, which means we can start on time. Actually, a couple minutes earlier, in fact. I know it's frightening, I know it's scary, and I know it's highly unusual, but it's happening. Don't worry, it'll probably never happen again. But instead of leaving you high and dry for an entire week, I figured we'd just go through some of your suggestions for video ideas, as we get way more than me and Sargon ever managed to get through. So we've got a couple that I, plural? I am the royal we. Yes, that we shall be going through today. Actually, I should not be using we because there's a W in there, and it kind of triggers my latent Norwegian. The W sound is not a good sound for me at all. It makes me sound Norse again. I don't like it. I'll put the Discord link in there, where we've got the Arch and Sargon cast suggestions as well, which is full of various suggestions already, a lot of them. But first, though, what the fuck is this? What the fuck is this? What is this? What is this? What is this thing? Somebody must be able to explain to me what this thing is, because I'm not sure. It partially looks Eldar. It's got the 1,000 suns like rocket pods. It's got sort of a kind of Zechian head thing. It's got some birds on the knee pads there. It kind of just looks like a fucking Stargate suit, honestly. I don't like it, chat. I don't like it. It offends me. What did they call it? The Sekhetar robots. The unsettling robotic forms. It certainly is unsettling. It certainly is upsetting. In fact, very, very upsetting. Oh, the rounded surfaces too. Okay. Battletech Gothic is obviously Battletech forgetting what the hell Battletech is, okay? That's indisputable. But 40k seems to be coming down with a bad case of something similar too, doesn't it? To be fair, it's the only really bad one. You know, the Nurgle one they announced here looks okay. It looks a bit, rounded and weird, but that's not too bad. The Codex looks good. The Khorne one doesn't look great either. I don't know. It's not like it's a bad model. It's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where I look at it and I'm like, there's way too much shit on it. Like, there's so many things on it that I can't even see all the details at once. The eye is simply overloaded with garbage. Like, he's got little blood pumps there. He's got wiring running into his flesh chainsaw arm. The weird hooky thing. He's got, like, muscle sinew on his greaves, on his leg plates there. He's got little stupid furry claws on his boots. He's got little tootsies. Aww. He's got the fucking doomsday chin there. He's got teeth on his collar because why not? And he's got an assload of skulls mounted to the top of his power pack, which also has little claws there. It's too much. It's too much. Like, the model disappears in all the little dumbassery on top of it. God, I miss the old designs. Maybe I'm just becoming an old cranky man, but I really do miss the old designs. Oh, and Cathay is the thing now too. The Grand Cathay is now honestly, officially a thing. And basically, it's just a Total War Cathay. They just took the Total War Warhammer faction of Cathay and turned them into models, in essence. Now, I don't mind the soldiers look okay. I don't hate the soldiers. They look like undefined. They don't look very well designed. Like they've kind of got like half moon, like almost elven halberds. Their armor is like somewhat Chinese. You've got like the kind of scale mail style stuff there. But then you've got like the weird headpieces, which almost, again, feels almost high elven with the tassels. It feels, again, like unfocused, which is my primary complaint with the Total War ones, too. And, of course, they've also upended the law, so now Cathay is officially, well, one, they've got better technology than the fucking dwarves do, and they are indeed ruled by living dragon gods. Which also have way too much of Ulthuan in them, don't they? Am I the only one who sees this? Like, again, perhaps I am just grown too old and cranky in my old days, but I really don't like the direction that the Warhammer The Old World is taking. It's too much fantasy nonsense. Warhammer Fantasy was never about, like, Lord of the Rings level fantasy shit. It isn't about having fucking flying. Again, I want to point out, was it Gotrek Gurn? No, not Gotrek Gurnisson. Malachi Mackinson, that was his name, who made an airship, and that was like a huge invention for the dwarves. Like, that's a recent invention. Like, holy shit, airships! And then eventually that spun off into, like, the little gyrocopters and stuff. Like, that is enormous stuff. That is the highest level technology in the old world. And the Chinese are like, lol, we've had fucking airships for millennia. What's wrong with you, dwarves? Like, what? You can't make golems anymore? That knowledge was lost 10,000 years ago? Pathetic. Yeah. This is my complaint about, like, the entire Chinese faction. It puts every other faction to absolute, utter fucking shame. Like, the lizardmen are super proud over their ancient slants. Like, look at this, we've got near godlike magical beings. Wow, they're the most powerful magicians in the old world. And again, the Chinese like, lol, our rulers are literal fucking dragon gods. Even the Empire's like, wow, we've got the best arsenals in the entire world. We've got the best thing. And again, the Chinese like, lol, Katyusha batteries and bombards. Their lowest ranked infantrymen are wearing basically full scale mail. Ugh. And the thing is, again, this is not Chinese armies at all. Chinese armies were largely peasant hordes. They're fucking, like, their basic cavalry is plate armored. And obviously this is because they want the Chinese market. That's why Total War Warhammer did it successfully. And that is now why Warhammer is doing it. Because I guarantee you, this kind of just genuine power fantasy stuff will sell like hotcakes in China. Like, they tried to do the Tao to appeal to the Japanese, but forgot that the Japanese aren't quite as self-masturbatory. And frankly, if you want to sell shit to the Japanese, you'd be better off making World War II Germans.
I have lost.
Unironically. But the Chinese, They have an entire culture built around jerking themselves off. They will love this. Like, this shit will sell like nobody's business. I just want to make that very clear there. This will sell like mad. Also, I love the fact that ogres are apparently just serving peacefully alongside the Chinese here too. Like, really? Now, ogres do have a long history of mercenaries, mind you, of course, but they are usually far too belligerent, violent, and hungry to exist alongside humans for any extent of time, but no doubt they taught the ogre about Taoism or something, and it was just like, that's really clever, I'm your friend forever now. Now Arch is upset. Why did chat have to make Arch upset? He's got... Wait, is that a fucking Is that a fucking... Of course it's a fucking Jezal. Of course it's a fucking Jezal. Of course! Because we have to have the Chinese look at the Skaven too, who are like, you know, this ridiculously powerful firearm can only be powered by literal warpstone dust. It is hilariously powerful. It's basically a cannon. And again, the Chinese are lol... We invented those ages ago, and bigger, and better, and safer. I fucking hate Cathay. I fucking hate Cathay. I kinda hate Cathay. Anyways, enough about hating Cathay for at least 5 minutes, I guess. Zenox and Doppelganger. V is about to stream too. You should combine. But he's not Sargon, though. He's just a V. Our local birdbrain, the Saxon, has been defeated. He has indeed. He was weak. He had to go to America to seek refuge. Revenants, for once, he stands alone upon the bridge. Beware sneaky Saxons coming downstream in barrels to stab you in the dinglies. And hints at what part of MLP will we get a deep dive on this April 1st. Probably, I'll have to disappoint you this April 1st, because I have been way too busy with everything else to even think about it, honestly. So you're probably not going to get an MLP April's Fool's video this year, I'm afraid. I'm sorry. Plus, they were never that popular either, you know? But I have not even had time to think about it. I was thinking about doing something, but too much stuff. Too much stuff. Plus, those are a lot of effort. Unironically. I know it sounds kind of retarded, but the MLP videos are probably some of my most heavily researched videos. Because you gotta watch fucking hours of stuff to get a solid basis for things in that. That's like fucking 8 seasons of ponies. Good God. It's absurd. Beyond the Fellhanded, as in all things, the sons of Rust stand proudest. Actually, that is true. Let me see if I can find the, yeah, there we go, the Space Wolves one. So the Space Wolf one actually looks really good. I have no complaints about this one whatsoever. This looks solid. This looks more old school Marines. They've got the wild hair. They've got the nice action. Okay, I corrected myself. I do have one complaint. Chat, and it's the fact that black people are yet again living on Fenris. Because of course. Anyways, they've got the beaky helmets. They've got some of the new... more black people on Fenris. More black... Oh my... Okay, never mind. Yeah, we're gonna... Yeah, we gotta just clip this for later. I gotta clip that for later. But they've got the old helmets too, which is very nice. I love the old helmets. I hate the new Primary stuff. So the fact that we're... Oh, wow, a white Fenrisian. That's fucking rare. So the fact that we're getting some more of the old school stuff is really, really, really appreciated. We've still got a lot of Primarius garbage in there, of course. Obviously. But... Yeah, at least it's a little bit of the old stuff. It's a little bit. It's a taste of what used to be, right? It's a taste. Even if the painfully modern is also very, very apparent. Draken, get the gypsy here. But V's streaming on his own now. Marked ashamed. Sig marries a successful lesbian black woman. She probably is. Lifkus Jaikon, curry for Arch, slop for Arch, curry fund for Arch. But why? Just because I don't want to do MLP this year? Holy shit. See, those are fun videos, but by God, they are genuinely a lot of effort. And right now, I need to make I am working on a video on Mussolini, Son of the Century, and I also need to make a video on Avatar, because the next Avatar movie is coming out this year, which means I've got to sit through both the first one and Tales of Water, which is like 6 hours combined to do that old stuff. Because Avatar is a fascinating movie in that, one, it had no cultural effect whatsoever, and I genuinely believe that is because deep down, everyone who watched it understood that the humans did nothing wrong. So, John, will you be trying Schedule 1, the druggy game? Schedule 1, I've never even heard about that. Schedule 1? From a small-time dope pusher to kingpin manufacturer and distributor of a range of drugs throughout the grungy city of Highland Point. Expand your empire with properties, business, employees, and more. No immediate plans for it, no? Is this a thing? Overwhelmingly positive with 10,000 reviews released like 3 days ago. Damn. Well, it's clearly successful. But no, I did not even know this thing existed until right now. Finn Khan, while I agree that Cathay should not be that technologically advanced, I disagree with the magic thing. Croak Teclis did more magic than Gandalf ever did. That is true, but they were also incredible outliers. Like, Croak is literally a singular entity. Like, Croak isn't Gandalf the White, right? Croak is like what was his name? The dude with the flying boat. Flying boat, Lord of the Rings. Erandil. Erandil. That was the name. Erandil, yes. Like, Croak is Erandil level, okay? He's War in the Heavens of Lord of the Rings level stuff. Like, First Age stuff. That's what Croak is. He is a First Age character. And Teclix, kind of the same. Like, Teclix 2 is an incredibly powerful mage. Like, he was practically the inventor of magic in the old world. Like, he too isn't even Gandalf. He is super Gandalf. And these things too are ridiculously rare. Like, you've got like 2 or 3 of them in the entire Warhammer world. Axiom Seraph. But if Cathay does sell like hot chocolate cakes in China, then that unironically means GW made an out-of-character, good financial-based decision. Oh yeah, no, it is a good financial decision. Don't get me wrong, it is. Sandum could do Fallout Equestria for April Fools. That would be even more effort. I shit you not. I did listen through the entirety of Fallout Equestria, but I don't remember enough of it now to make a lore video out of it. That was like, oh my god, that was like fucking 50 hours or something. That was a lot. It was pretty good too, although the pony on pony lesbian erotica in great detail, mind you, great erotic detail. I was not prepared for that. I was not prepared for sitting through like 40 minutes of NSFW, lesbian ASMR ponies. I didn't see that coming. In more ways than one. Bean, 175. Arch, maybe make a Arch-approved Cathay? Maybe. Sandy, why Afro wolves? Why not Arab wolves? Haddock sex Vikings. You know, that would be slightly more fitting, because at least they would be Berbers, you know? Seduction Doppelganger, you need to do a side-by-side comparison of old versus Primaris armor, because I struggle to notice the difference. Generally, it is the more rounded forms. That's generally it. The new Primaris armor is far more rounded, more elegant, more tactical in essence. Which is not really what 40K was supposed to be about. It's supposed to be about archaic knights in space in essence. Corona Arch, gyrocopters came long before the airships for the dwarves. Where, did they? Really? I seem to remember in the,
You ignorant slut.
In the War of the Beard book series. Wasn't that the first airship? I don't remember now. It's been too long since I read the War of the Beard series. Although, I'm really kind of wanting to do a Warhammer lore series now on the War of the Beard. I might do the war, like the Great War Against Chaos mini big lore series now that I'm done with Sabbat. Just to see how that does, but at the same time, the Arch Warhammer channel is so fucking heavily flagged that I don't really know if it's worth the effort. Murky Product, they should give Cathay have way more infighting. So that could be where they can't commit their more powerful units or have the Dragon Gods fight sort of like the Chaos Gods. They can't commit too much without being destroyed. That was one of the primary weaknesses of China as well. The constant infighting, the warring states, the petty warlords, the banditry, etc., the religious uprisings. China was not a very stable kingdom, and the only reason why it managed to become a sort of stable kingdom under Han rule was basically due to constant brutal oppression. Well, hey, I am all for constant brutal oppression, of course. I am pro those things. Magnificus Chai Khan, I don't care for MLP. I want to see you eat slop. But that might also be a little bit MLP-esque, you know? Dress up in My Little Pony costume and eat curry? Actually, no, let's not think about that. Kudos Ponderings. Enjoy the Ghibli memes that have been coming out. I have seen some of them. I am surprised that it's so good at drawing Nazi Ghibli. Roth. In law, wasn't the original population of Fenris purged by the Inquisition, so I had to be repopulated, or am I wrong? Final Fantasy VIII playthrough. Final Tactics, I think. Was it purged? I don't think so. Not that I can remember off the top of my head, at least. Fire Emblem 8. Let's add that to that. And even if it was purged over hundreds, I mean, hell, not even hundreds, over the course of merely probably a couple hundred years, the skin color would revert to near universally white. For the simple reason that if you didn't, you'd die? So, let's see here. Let's see if I can find the... There we go. Alright, so... one of the genuine problems that we have up here in Norway is vitamin D deficiency. So vitamin D comes primarily from the sun. Okay, that's one of our main source of vitamin D, or vitamin, comes from the sun. This is why we develop a fairer skin in the north, so that we can absorb more vitamin D. Meanwhile, of course, down in Africa, etc., where there's far more sunlight, the advantages of... You already get plenty of vitamin D. You don't need any more. What you need at that point is to block out the sun's harmful rays, which are causing, damage to your body. In the case of a planet like Fenris, blocking out the sun's rays would not be the big issue. By any stretch of the imagination. What you would need is to make sure you get a sufficient amount of vitamin D, which means paler skin tones. And if you don't do this, your bones will literally start crumbling, which is really, really, really fucking bad, okay? I don't think vitamin D deficiency is outright lethal, but it is a big problem. Like it's very, very, very serious. And this is why you would naturally see within a few hundred years, couple generations, etc., or a dozen or so, that you would get lighter skins amongst the space wolves on the planet, until eventually all of them would either have completely pale skin, or if they are living in the more extreme areas, like, let's see, what's the name of those people living on the polar ice caps?
Service guarantees citizenship.
Or if you are in areas with like extreme solar exposure, right? Where like the sun is just beating down really, really hard again, you'd get people that would basically look like the Inuits, where you kind of need to strike a balance between the two, where you need a fair enough skin so as to get your vitamin D requirements, but you also need enough of a complexion to not have your skin scorched off, basically. This is also why they often wore like things like ice masks, because I was gonna see if I can find an ice mask. That's not at all what I was thinking about, Google. But ice masks are basically, face coverings. And this is done because when you are in an area with a ton of snow, the snow itself will actually reflect the sunlight. It's like standing in front of basically an endless mirror, causing yet further sunburn, causing it to be necessary to cover your face. But yeah, basically, black space wolves is dumb and stupid and shouldn't exist, and the only reason it does exist is because of diversity. That's it. That is literally the only reason it does. You could also get vitamin D through specific nutritions. What is it? What?
Guarantees
What contains vitamin D? Shellfish? Let me see. Let's see. Fish contains some. Eggs, mushrooms. There's not going to be a lot of that on Fenris. Or maybe mushrooms.
You ignorant slut.
Yeah, fish would basically be their primary source, which would be not enough unless they ate a fucking lot of it. And even that's assuming, of course, that the fish on Fenris contain the same omega-3 oils? Or is it acids? Oils or acids? That fish on Earth do, so yes. Black Vikings is dumb. Just actually, unironically, dumb. Zerufauta, Sargon. Let me ask you if Warhammer full woke. There's no Sargon here. He's dead. Would you try to claim it or try to claim Trench Crusade because Arch wants to claim something touched by the Chaos and thinks it is a good idea? Well, here's the thing. It is either claim it or lose everything, right? If we own nothing, then we literally own nothing at all. And also means that over the course of many, 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 many years, right, everything will inevitably become woke. If we have no cultural assertions over everything, and Sargon would 1000% agree with me on this, if we do not assert our own culture, then everything is open for grabs for the opposition. This is kind of why we went as far left as we did, to the point where eventually, even something like this, which is the setting that I am working on for myself, tabletop, fantasy, science fiction setting more correctly, with Sargon. Me and Sargon are working on this, right? And it's going really well. We're loving it so far. But if we never lay claim to anything, then eventually even this will become woke. Even if we create something entirely new, expressly anti-woke, it will eventually become woke over a long enough period of time. That's kind of what happened to Warhammer 40,000, where I initially thought, rather naively, that it was way too grim-dark of a setting to ever become woke. It is literally anti-progressivism. The core pillar of Warhammer is stagnation. It is, well, the war on technological advancement, the firming up of stability and fossility, in essence. It is the worship of stagnation, the exact opposite in almost every way, where diversity is not only harmful, it's outright genocidally dangerous, and yet it too began turning woke. If we never claim anything for our own, we will eventually, over a long enough period of time, lose everything. And that's even if you don't, hire people to do it, right? Because the primary effect of woke that they have on industries is from the outside first, via institutions, via financial benefits, via ESG, for example, and DEI programs to buy their way into things. Then they use soft power that they've gained, again, usually via institutions, to love bomb things. And they're like, oh, you're so good, it's so great, this is fantastic. And since it is a natural human reaction to be more charitably disposed towards people you like, and you are more likely to like people who like you in turn, even if me and Sargon were to constantly be like, no woke, I recognize your nonsense, eventually we would retire or move on, and then somebody else would come in. And even if we told them, like, no, you can't do that, they would do it. I mean, hell, look at Disney, right? Look at Walt Disney. Do you think Walt Disney would be pro-woke? You think Walt Disney would like it? Of course not. This is why it is absolutely imperative that we do assert our own values, and that we do try to actually lay claim to things. Especially when they are friendly to us, but even more advisably when they are hostile to us, which is what the left is doing. I mean, the left is currently trying to claim Marvel rivals, for fuck's sake. Damn it. Why Hayden, do a video on your thoughts on MLP's art style. I'm trying to think what my thoughts on that would be. It's good. Oh, it is. It actually is good.
Service guarantees citizenship.
And then they made it in 3D and they made everybody look like pigs. I don't know if there'd be much to talk about there. Actually, Sujad brings up an excellent point right there. Tolkien's grandkids are doing the same thing. Yeah, no, exactly. Like, that's the thing. If all of the institutions, if all of entertainment, if all of everything else belongs to the left, then nothing will be able to exist in opposition to it for any real amount of time. Like, this is why it is absolutely crucial that we do actually assert our own values and culture, for otherwise we have nothing. Reverend Norse, do a EAW stream? Equestrian War, I'm guessing. Where you play some nation you have wanted to try but never have, and just leave it at that stream no matter how it goes? Question mark. I mean, we could fund that. I guess we already have like one Equestrian War stream series fully funded, but we could do something like that too. What? $200? $250? Because it's only one stream.
Heresy's the question.
So John, surely you've seen the Sword and Slippers trailer. I have. It's not a whole lot of information, but I'm interested. It does seem like a tiny bit of a resurgence for a Western game studio to go like, okay, let's make hot, sexy women, and I am all for it. Speaking of, that's a beautiful way to segue into another point that I was going to bring up. So, Yves Guillemot, Guile from Street Fighter, Ubisoft have gotten bought up by Tencent. Well, not bought up necessarily, but Tencent now owns a quarter of the company. And they have pumped in, I think they mentioned like $1 billion or something into it now to create a subsidiary. There we go, yeah. 1.16 billion investment has been made by Tencent into Ubisoft, which is exactly what I was talking about with Assassin's Creed and how they were like hyping up the numbers. And Ubisoft had to pay through the nose to get this done, by the way, as they now must cut off a subsidiary, which will be run by Ubisoft and Tencent. This subsidiary will be given Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and Far Cry. Tencent just sliced off the 3 most important franchises to Ubisoft. And now they can have the opportunity to begin building that, as they now have a 25% share in it. One they will probably look to expand. Okay. If I'm going to be paranoid here, if I'm going to be the conspiracy theorist here, right? If I was Tencent, I would now move in and do a lot of firings. I would gut the fuck out of Ubisoft as much as I could, and there are signs that may be coming, as there's an internal email here going that, of course, this brings some uncertainty and questions. Right now, we may not have all the details, answers, but we're committed to communicating with you transparently and regularly. That, in corpo speech, somebody's gonna get fucking fired. Okay? Tencent is then going to, after gutting Ubisoft and bringing down its value, is going to probably make one more real stinker. They're going to pump out one more shit game to kind of place this subsidiary in a poor position, to shrink it further and to reduce the value of the companies. Now they've sliced off the 3 most important things, right? Or alternatively, they might even try to sink Ubisoft directly by slicing off these hyper-valuable entities. They will use this to grow their share in the subsidiary, which basically has what Tencent wants. This is Tencent basically being a hunting pack of jackals, attacking a bunch of zebras, and they're chasing off the old, the weak, and the children for dinner. That's Assassin's Creed, Rainbow Six, and Far Cry. That's the prey Ubisoft wants to devour right there. Now, all they need to do is run Ubisoft into the ground for a little bit until they can pick up the premier entities and then make massively successful versions. We will see Assassin's Creed China within 10 years. I guarantee it. We are going to see more Far Cry and Rainbow Six, and they will be made probably with Chinese studios eventually, and they will be made probably for a Chinese audience. And they will be good. They will almost certainly be good, because they will be traditionally good video games. Tencent, unlike Ubisoft, still knows what sells, as they've demonstrated again and again. And they will be able to revitalize these franchises and massively increase their initial investments. This is kind of the death of Ubisoft in my opinion. As this will now slowly just be eaten away at until it's just a Tencent subsidiary. And Tencent basically outright owns these big franchises, which is what they were aiming at getting. And they got it for a bargain price, too. Instead of buying Ubisoft, which is, valued at lots and lots of money, they can just slice off a portion of Ubisoft and basically gain control over that from the inside instead. Oh well. Good for Tencent, I suppose. And we will get something good out of it. We will get a few good games, but this is another step on China's long road to attempting to become the cultural hegemon, which is not good news for the West in the long term. In fact, it's really, really bad news for the West in the long term. It might even be the worst possible news for the West in the long term, but hey, that's still like 20 years in the future, so enjoy it while it lasts, I suppose. Enjoy it whilst it lasts. Where did I put, I had another thing I was going to bring up. There we go. As we allow the dumbass ads to play. Alright. This will be our first actual proper subject today then, as I was promising me we were going to watch some videos, and it's like 40 minutes in already. Just give me a second, I'm going to go and blow my nose, because I'm getting all stuffy and stuff. Alright, let's continue watching Asmongold slide down into the buttery pit of domestic terrorism then, shall we? See, is that a good volume? We'll see.
Bought in 2020, we stand with LGBTQ+. If you have to explain to members of your political party why they shouldn't vandalize your property, you are in the wrong political party.
Correct. You are indeed in the wrong political party. Sucks to be you.
If I happen to own a Tesla, the thing would be covered in bumper-to-bumper liberal bumper stickers and resistance messages. Otherwise, I'd have to sell my car.
Yes. So, this is actually an interesting thing. Humans can be rather groupish animals, right? We tend to pick teams. Those teams can be sports teams, obviously. They can be political teams, obviously again. But we all pretty much belong to some sort of group. And that group can be pretty small. It can simply just be like friends and family, etc. But often, we will attempt to connect ourselves with larger entities. This seems to be just like a basic human thing. And one of the largest groups currently, of course, are political groupings. It is the left versus basically everybody else. And teams eventually grow hostile towards one another. Now, this can, ebb and grow, of course. Sweden, Norway, and Denmark used to absolutely fucking hate one another, but these days obviously are significantly more peaceful, duh. But right now, the US is in a very high intensity part of its teamishness. And one of the ways we display the team we are for is, of course, with outward signifiers, like stickers, like writing this on your windshield. And as the political struggle gets more extreme, obviously you will want to communicate your political leanings more clearly, so as to not fall prey to violence from the other side. Indeed, we have recent examples of this in human history. Let me bring up... there we go. Here we are! Our recent examples. So, during times of escalating political violence, you will, of course, need to declare your colors proudly and openly and obviously. If you do not do so, you are in danger of getting attacked by your own side. And it tends to be the aggressor that adopts this uniform standard first and foremost, because they are the ones that know that they're enacting violence. They are the ones that know that they are going to attempt to enforce their will upon everybody else through the utilization of violence. That is why they dress in a militaristic manner. That is why they basically attempt to appear larger than life, to build a collectivist structure whereupon men can be turned into a unit, into a formation. As human beings in mass, in numbers, become far more groupish entities. This is also a phenomenon you can see in sports teams and military units. Anyone who's been in the military knows that you feel completely differently when you are marching alongside like 100 other soldiers. A certain spirit comes over you. And the cultivation of this spirit is, of course, at the core of many modern-day military philosophies. The esprit du corps, in essence. In terms of political violence, which is exactly what's going on in America now, it's kind of the same thing. It is creating a spirit of permissibility. It is creating a team feeling that will supersede the normal feelings of public restraint. Normally, you wouldn't attack somebody's car. Normally, you wouldn't smash somebody's windshield or scrape up their paint with your keys. That is socially unacceptable behavior. However, if you are not doing it, if you are doing it as a group, if it is the movement doing it, and you are doing it against an enemy, a vile, evil foe that endangers everything you stand for, well, now suddenly smashing a windshield is far more reasonable. Now, scraping up a car is not merely acceptable, it is desirable. And, of course, this is also why I find the Mussolini TV show that aired recently so very, very, very interesting, and why I will do a video of sort on that. As in it, they had a very interesting little quote there with, let's see if I can find it now, with Mussolini looking at the screen. I think it's my Twitter. Let's see if I can find it. Yes, there we go. So this is going to be my primary, argument against Mussolini's Son of the Century, because it doesn't address fascism at all. Not at all. It doesn't even mention what fascism is at any point. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. And if you simply define your enemy as bad, as evil, a force against which any and all actions are justified, you will become the fascists. You'll become fascist too. If you watch Mussolini's Son of the Century, and you take away what the creator of the show wants for you to take away, that fascism is simply just evil. It's just bad. And everything bad is fascist, and since fascist is the ultimate evil, that means that anything bad is the ultimate evil, you will become the fascists. Today, by far the most fascist movement is the left. It is the most authoritarian. It is the most eager and ready to utilize violence. It is by far the most permissive of domestic terrorism. And it is also the one that has fully embraced the group think and using the common cause as a justification for escalation. It starts with Teslas, and it will escalate from there. Mark my words. Anyways, that was a major deviation, 18 seconds in. All over bumper stickers.
Yeah, I think that if you feel like you're going to have your property destroyed because of a purchase that was retroactively deemed to be evil, then...
Evil. Exactly. That is the word as well. Evil. That is the word. It is not merely that you, bought the wrong car. It isn't merely that you have committed a social faux pas by driving the non-posh vehicle. It's none of that. It is you are evil if you do this. You are evil. It is not you're a bad person, or you're wrong, or you're mistaken. You are evil. That is exactly the correct word. And of course, against evil, any and all actions are justified.
Yeah, you're probably on the wrong side. Look at this.
Now she says she feels targeted.
Damaging a personal vehicle does not affect Elon. If anything, it's giving him more money to fix the vehicle that you damaged.
That's actually a good point, yeah. If you want to hurt Elon, this is not the way to do it. But of course, again, it's not about logics, is it? It's not about logic. In fact, okay, so let me show you this clip as an intermission. This is a beautiful little clip right here. I don't know if that sounds, but this is a brilliant little clip. So just behold the absence of logic and the presence of just sheer retarded anger. Meep, meep, meep. This... This somewhat overweight black gentleman is not really going to inflict all that much damage on the Tesla by ramming it into it with his fucking mobility scooter. In fact, he's probably endangering himself far more so than the Tesla. Okay? But he is now feeling the spirit of fascism, in essence. He is feeling the spirit of the communal. He is feeling the spirit of his group, and he has seen a sign of the enemy. He has seen the Tesla, the mark of evil, actual evil. And so, even though this makes no sense whatsoever, even though he would probably do more damage by walking up to the thing and kicking it, or smashing its windshields with his bike pump on his back, I'm not sure what that is. Is it a pogo stick? In which case, this is a seriously optimistic individual. But he's just angry. He's just angry, and so he does something patently retarded. And funny. Don't get me wrong. And funny. Oh, I do love that one. That is a good clip. That's just a good clip. That's just a good clip. Fenrir44, Arch, for the love of Sigma and the Emperor, don't stop with your amazing lore videos. They are the highlight here. Okay, so I want to... Oh, hey, Yanovich, didn't see you there. Hello, Yanovich. How are you doing? See, I'm not necessarily planning on stopping with lore videos, but I gotta admit, I'm clearly way better, or better. No, I don't know if better, but to put it simply, the ArchCast is way more popular than the Warhammer stuff. Frankly, it does better. It earns more. It's appreciated more. It gets harder and harder to find the investment to do the lore stuff, which I still only really do because of how much I do genuinely love Warhammer and 40k. But like Lumlum did a stream reacting to some of my old content back in the day, and she sent me a message going like, "Arch, you used to be happy. What happened?" And I'm just like, yeah, I did used to be happy. I used to not know about all of the shit that was going on. I used to not know that Warhammer was heading down a fucking cliff. I used to not know that GW had been taken over by a bunch of fucking morons. Now I do know, and it definitely does color the style of content I do on it. It really does. Society happened, said chat. Yes, society fucking happened. I think I'm going to need to do some more Warhammer fantasy, honestly. Just something that's fun, you know? I really want to do the Great War Against Chaos at some point, because I think that would be fun.
I have lost. Shit.
But yes, a fat black person ramming himself into a Tesla is exactly the kind of, like, group mentality we're talking about here.
It's not damaging who you're thinking it is.
Just before 6 p.m. on Thursday, Abigail Gale and her family were seated for dinner at Olive Garden. Over an hour later, they left, and what they found waiting for them was shocking.
Quite a lot of damage. He keyed this side as well, which, as you can see, this side, it even looks like it affected above the tire.
Yep.
This is a lot more damage.
This comes less than a week after a...
And again, this is just a petty act of outrage. It's like all it is. This is the most middle-class act of petty vengeance imaginable. You can just see the guy who would do something like this in your mind's eye, right? It is a big, like, fat, overage woman who is just standing there staring at the Tesla, and it's just seething like, oh my god, that Elon, oh god, oh, pulls out her keys and starts swiping away at the car like, nah, I'll show you. It's such a fucking stupid thing. It's such a stupid fucking thing. There was also, the Tesla took a video of this. Again, exactly the person you think it is. Some fat, middle-aged white guy. He sees the Tesla and he stares at it. And he's getting visibly upset. Like, he's getting red in the face. Like, oh my god, it's a Tesla. And he drops what he has in his hand and starts looking around for his keys. Like, oh, there it is. My keys. And he goes to scrape up the car. It's like... And the worst part is, these normal people don't even understand that they've basically been brain poisoned at this point. That this absurd hatred against it is literally just an indoctrinated dislike that they don't even understand themselves. I bet you if they ask the guy, like, why did you do this? He's gonna and ah, like, oh, racism, the gays, or something. They're not even gonna have, like, a solid rationale for their actions. All they're gonna know is that they were really, really upset when they saw the Tesla.
Possible arson at a Tesla dealership in Kansas City.
Russia's disabled? Yeah, of course. That's what I was saying, is that this is why these people will lose the optics war, and they will look like retard, like they look like really, really stupid terrorists, because that's basically...
It's true, really stupid terrorists. Give me a second. Now, I will also say, I don't know if there's an optic wars going on anymore.
Can I sell your feet?
Now, in part, of course, there always is an optic war, right? Obviously, in part. There is always going to be a disagreement over the 98%, right? But I am starting to think that the battle lines have been drawn so firmly now, at least on the left, that they have basically come to the conclusion that they can't persuade anyone anymore. You know, they've arrived at the idea that we can no longer talk our way out of this. We cannot sway anyone else to our side. We look too bad as it is. And so, of course, the only remaining option then is escalation. It's okay, we can't convince the public, so let's try to scare the public. We've attempted to use the carrot, now we will use the stick and only the stick. Which is also, incidentally, why we need to be careful with overusing the stick, because if the normies simply get caught in between two groups with truncheons, well, then we're truly back to, the 1930s. As we have an opportunity here to win over a lot more people, I think. But like the fat normies who will scrape up a Tesla because of irrational rage, they're already lost. Like, they're already gone to us. They're already poisoned to the point where just seeing a Tesla will fill them with unreasoning, seething anger that they themselves don't even understand.
What they are. This is what these people are doing. It's straight up friendly fire. She probably faked it. I don't know if she faked it or not. I mean, if there's a camera that shows it's happening, right?
Believes her brand new Tesla was targeted because of the current political climate and perception of Tesla CEO Elon Musk.
But it felt really disappointing that this is happening in such a great country, a great state. So for this to be happening in Kansas, of all places, is super...
Kansas! Is Kansas red? Is Kansas blue? I have no idea. But Kansas, that's where that little girl was from when she was teleported to Oz and she met a lion.
Super shocking.
Well, it only takes
she says
one
her family
person.
has had discussions around if it's even safe to be driving a Tesla anymore.
Unironically, no. Unironically, no. All right? It is not safe to drive a Tesla, comparatively to everything else. If you are driving a Toyota, you're not going to get firebombed. Because the left doesn't have a problem with Toyotas. Yet. If you are driving a Tesla, however, yes, there is a greater risk that somebody who doesn't even understand why they're angry will decide to enact petty terrorism against you. At the moment, nobody has actually been injured or killed during these acts of domestic terrorism, as far as I'm aware. But they have shot at Tesla dealerships. They have tossed literal straight-up Molotov cocktails at parked cars and so on. It is pretty obvious that this is not a good thing. It is not a thing that speaks of safety and security.
In part because of incidents like hers. If she could send a message to the man who keyed her car.
Yeah, and it's another, you can see again, it's another pajama-wearing white liberal that's going around acting and role-playing as Che Guevara.
Oh, is this the person who keyed the...
Yep.
Service guarantee
Yes, it is.
Like hers.
What a
If she
surprise.
could send a
And yeah, this is exactly what I mean, right? Middle-aged white woman who sees the Tesla and just fumes. It's like, oh my god, I need to take revenge against that evil Elon for all of the gays he's put into camps. And does so by keying a car.
Yep.
incidents like hers.
What a
If she
surprise.
could send a message to the man who keyed her car, it's this.
You have put a very big crisis on me because physically
The
I
bottom
am in a
1%.
wheelchair. I just hope that he definitely gets the correct
Let me-
punishment.
This.
That too. So she's disabled. God, the left cannot get anything wrong. So they see a Tesla in a handicap spot. It's like, fume. Oh, God help me.
You have put a very big crisis on me because physically I am in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
I just hope that he definitely gets the correct punishment. I hope he pays all of the damages. It is well over $1,000, possibly over $10,000 of damage.
Jesus. It's $10,000 to repaint a car in the U.S.?
Trick or treat.
God, you fuckers screwed, yo.
I
That's a
hope that
lot.
the Wichita police continue to find him.
Now, sadly, they're probably never going to find this person or this woman. I'm a bit confused. Because the cops don't care. The cops do not give a fuck, okay? I'm not saying that to be mean to the cops, okay? It's that they don't have the resources. If you give them the picture of the person, the video of the person, fully identifiable, if you hand them the case on a silver platter 9 times out of 10, the cops aren't going to do anything because it's literally too much effort to do it. Instead, they will have a notice put out that if the person is ever stopped in the future or has to interact with the police for some other reason, then when they run their name or their license plate, etc., then it'll pop up that they're wanted for this other thing. The police very rarely go out of their way looking for people anymore. They're just too busy and too understaffed. Now, hopefully, the police in Kansas are different, because that's how it is here in Norway. The Norwegian police are way too busy dealing with actual shit, like serious stuff, to even think about most of this. We had a case in my immediate family. This was quite some while ago now, where my grandmother was living at an old people's home. You know, she was in the last few years of her life. Poor dear. God, I do miss my grandmother. Anyways, she knew that there was a person working there who was stealing from the old people. Now, my grandmother was sick, but she was perfectly mentally lucid. You know, she had no issues with her head at all. She'd basically been screwed over by the Norwegian health system. Her liver was failing, and that wasn't detected until it was way too late, because nobody gives a shit about old people, unfortunately.
Fire is the answer.
So she knew this employee was stealing from other old people and had tried to steal from her. She had literally caught her going through her purse. And we contacted the old people's home, of course, a government-ran home, and we're like, okay, this person is stealing. And they're like, we don't know about that. You don't have any evidence or anything. We can't do anything about that. Like, okay, shit. What can we do? Well, you can talk to my supervisor, and we talk to their supervisor. Nothing fucking happens. We go up to the actual communal part of this, like the people running the old people's home. Like, listen, one of your employees is stealing. You gotta stop this. She's stealing from lots of people. Loads of people at the old people home knows that they're stealing. Nothing happens. Eventually, we go to the police. Like, okay, she's stealing from fucking 70, 80, 90-year-old people. Do something. And there too is like, yeah, I know, but we got so much else to do. And we get a detective who finally gets assigned to this case after like a year of her still working there and still stealing from people. And he basically explains to us that he has 122 cases that he has been assigned. And he's just fucked. he can't do shit. But he was a really great guy, and he decided to prioritize this case because it was against the most vulnerable in society, basically. And even then, they couldn't actually do anything. They couldn't really arrest her or get any damages out of her or anything. She admitted to stealing. They pulled her in for an interview, and they basically scared the shit out of her, and she goes, yes, I stole, and she was let off with a slap on the wrist, and she was fired from her job. That was it. That was all they could do. So, the justice system is fucked in my nation. Genuinely fucked. And I know a lot of people in other European countries basically have the exact same stories, that the police are just hilariously overworked and don't have a chance to do anything about this. So I may be making assumptions of American police, but I imagine there's even fewer police over there and even more people. We're 3 minutes in. God help me.
Gail tells me she contacted the Wichita Police Department almost immediately and says they're still waiting for answers.
Oh, there you go. Exactly. Well, there you fucking go. Exactly. Like, hey, police department, ring. I've got video footage of a dude vandalizing my car. Could you call me back? 6 months later. Hello, I see you've lodged a complaint. I swear to God. I swear to God.
Well, hopefully they find the person and arrest them. That's what it is, man. And you'll see the lack of accountability from the left is something I've...
And I guarantee they won't arrest them. I guarantee they will not arrest them. Like, this is not an arrestable crime. This is a, you get a letter in the mail crime that goes, hey, we suspect you of keying this woman's car. Could you please come to the courthouse in 3 months? Please? That's the kind of crime this is. And again, the police officers are doing everything they can, but there ain't enough of them.
Fault your Tesla got damaged. It's Elon's fault. Yeah, handicapped Tesla driver. Shit, that's bad. Yeah. And she isn't that disabled at all. She's using a scooter. I can cross her. I can cross her legs. I'm quadriplegic, and I use an extra electric wheelchair. I know what disabled is. So you're saying that she's not disabled enough, so it's okay to like, basically, I don't know. I mean, I don't think...
I don't know where he's reading this, but yeah, that sounds retarded. Hold on. You're not disabled enough for my sympathies. What?
Heresy's the question.
I am sorry. My standards of disability are higher than yours. I mean, hey, seeing as the standard of disability in the United Kingdom is being fucking depressed, maybe we do need to raise our standards on disabilities. Maybe indeed. Oh, he's reading his chat. Okay, let me catch up on a few of these super chats before they complete out of control again. Mr. Next 21, I live in Southern California. How did I get more justice than Arch or this lady? Lucky, I guess, and you should be happy for it. There's a lot of people who just never get justice in these systems of ours. They're just not fit for purpose. Simple as. So, Jard, it's the same here in Ireland. There's an infamous judge here, Judge Nolan, who is renowned for letting the worst of the worst off with barely anything. Oh, yeah, that is... Again, let me show you this. I had this on my Twitter the other day. Let's see. Ah, yeah, there we go. So, this was from Austria. Austrian migrant gang rape horror. Girl 12 passed around like a trophy by more than a dozen boys during horrifying repeated sex acts in Vienna. These people were let off basically with probation. Let's see if I can find the the case. Oh, they filmed it too. Brilliant. TikTok. Fucking hell. Okay, so here it is. A 12-year-old girl was forced into carrying out an abortion by one of her alleged rapists, a court has heard. So they filmed this because these people feel that they are completely impervious to any consequences whatsoever, that nothing bad can ever happen to them. So they just do this, raping a 12-year-old girl.
Trick or treat.
Entirely fucking normal. And the punishment... Weiss was sentenced to 15 months probation and £670 in damages. "15 months probation, as in no jail time, and £670 in damages for gang raping a 12-year-old girl and filming it." You literally can't even believe it. Like, it is so far beyond the pale that you can't even wrap your head around it. You can't even imagine it, right? You can't. Your brain can't process this. It is so wild that yeah. The rest are still being investigated. After the case was brought to attention by the victim and her mother in October 2023.
Fire is the answer.
So over a year ago. Another suspect previously appeared in court charged with raping the girl and blackmailing her with the footage. He was later acquitted of rape charges, telling the court of Vienna he didn't realize she was 12, claiming she looked older.
Heresy's the question.
Oh, well, fucking okay then. Your Honor, I am not guilty of rape. Okay, Sadiq, what's your argument? She looked older. Well, shit. You got me. We can't convict you. Fuck. Leave, I guess. Be free. It doesn't fucking... It doesn't fucking compute, does it?
Guarantees citizenship.
It just does not compute. It does not compute. It does not fucking compute. I cannot imagine the reasoning that this judge must have had for doing this. Like, he was let off. Like, at least this guy was punished, quote unfucking quote. But what kind of rationale could possibly justify 15 months probation and $670? I spend more than that on fucking replica swords. over gang raping. I don't fucking care about King Charles. Over filming the gang rape of a girl.
You ignorant slut.
You want to talk about evil? You want to talk about actual, unironic, genuine evil? It ain't driving a Tesla. It isn't being upset at Elon Musk, or even Trump, for admittedly fairly retarded tariffs at this point.
Fire is the answer.
This is evil. And I'm not even talking about the rapists, alright? They come from a place where this is fucking normal. They are born and bred into a culture where you can apparently gang rape a girl whilst filming it, and then get off by telling the judge that she did look older than 12. Fuck. If there is literally no punishment for a crime, is it even a crime in their minds? Of course not. Obviously not. If you get let up for rape with a probation, the people that are really truly evil here are the judges. The court system that allows this to happen is the evil system. Can you imagine how this girl feels? How her family feels? This is just... And again, I hate this too. It's like, this is not right. November 25-24, Metro launch, this is not right. A year-long campaign addressing relentless epidemic of violence against women. The problem here is not violence against women. That is not the issue here. This is literally adolescence here, right here. The problem isn't violence against women. The problem is that you have imported hordes of men who have no respect whatsoever for women, who view them actively as lesser beings, and you have furthermore created a court and a justice system that agrees. So long, of course, as the perpetrator holds those opinions as well. That is not a violence against women issue. That is your entire society is fucked issue. That is, you have become Weimar Germany issue. Fuck. I'll be right back. Just fucking...
Service guarantees citizenship.
All right. Okay, let's move on from that, I guess. Fucking Christ. Mercedes 21. This judge and the accused is all by design, Soros. I mean, again, like, the justice system in Europe is just fucked.
Heresy's the question.
Unironically, just fucked. It is just straight fucked. And the judges are too unaccountable. Too unaccountable. This person should not have a job after this. They should consider themselves deeply blessed if they only lost their jobs from this. This is fucking comic book levels of evil. Fucking Christ. Oh, Janovic. Oh, you've had a kid. Congratulations, Janovic. Congratulations, sir. 2 months ago. Awesome. That's fantastic, man. A bit of lightness. Ikigrat, my beautiful Austria. We nearly got a conservative right-wing government because the right wing got first in the election historically, but they had to argue over the interior ministry and firewall bullshit like in Germany. Dean's least insane blank slate theorists.
You ignorant slut.
Real Zartax. It's the level of punishment you'd expect for a medieval noble or for abusing the peasantry belonging to another noble. Yes, correct. Like, V is entirely correct on this, that the immigrants have basically become a noble class within Europe. 15 months probation and £600. That is literally a neighboring lord being told, and don't you do it again. Oh, and give the victim's family a pig or something. That's what that is. Mercenaries anyone, it makes perfect sense to me. Arch, judge is evil. Yeah. Yeah, no, actually. If you want to see actually evil people, that judge is an actually evil human being. Taratine, the West should start gelding all the migrant gang rapists. I mean, I'm not saying I'm unsympathetic to the position, but for YouTube's sake. Mr. Personality, what's the cost on a lifetime of therapy? More than £670, I imagine. Rubberleg623, feed those boys to chippy feet first. Slowly. Krieger, I'm pretty sure that's ground for hanging. Scorn. I mean, you'd fucking think so. I mean, okay. I would even make the argument that I find it, like, ridiculous that it would equal, like, death to rape and so on. I would even make that argument in their defense, even, but if no other punishment will seemingly discourage this crime...
Heresy's the question.
Well, we do have a lot of trees around. Father Jack the Enlightened, grape equals probation. Mean words, life sentence. You probably... Unironically, I wonder if there's, like, hate crimes in Austria. Let's see. Yep, there's hate crimes in Austria, of course. Let's see. Hate crime in Austria.
Heresy's the question. Fire is the answer.
Hate crimes, Austria. Punishment. Hate crimes. Online hate crimes, of course. I'm trying to find a punishment for it. I can't find any, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's significantly harsher than rape. At least by this standard. Gotta make sure we prioritize the correct things, after all. River Norse, I agree. Things are even worse in Sweden. I am simply waiting for people to start taking the law into their own hands since it does not work anymore. I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all if that becomes a genuine choice for a lot of people. Akabans999, Overlord, Raising Hell. Thank you very much, sir. I will note that down.
Service guarantees citizenship.
The DCV Titan, when you do the Avatar video, don't forget the game Avatar Frontiers of Pandora. I am not willing to play that thing. I'll watch the movies. I'm not exposing myself to that fucking game. Sparky, Sargon, have you seen the UK? There's no Sargon, he dead. UK looking for growth group. Their last meeting had Dom Cummings? Zia Youssef, Labour, and Toys alongside a lot of tech bros. Thoughts? See, I don't know anything about that. Sandium, I think Magnus purged Fenris. Pop by a lot in law. The siege? Well, that was much later, wasn't it?
Shit.
I think so. That's modern lore, I think. Valomir, any plans to revisit CK3 Arch after Byzantine government and landless gameplay? We're getting nomads and the entirety of Asia, and Cathay and Witcher DLC. Eventually, yes, eventually. I will be revisiting that. Eventually. I'm just not entirely sure when yet. I'll add that to Curry Fund and the Witcher DLC. Shout out to Yin Yang. I don't mind the Dragon Emperor. It's the tech that bothers me. The Cathayan focus should, in my opinion, be on magical creatures and human armies, instead of just both, yeah. Mason Miller. Hey Arch, now that Sabbath is over, can you sort the videos also newest in the playlist for easy viewing, and what's the next large series? It should be, isn't it? It should be newest to oldest. It should be. Should be. Next large series. I don't know if there'll be one, but I'm thinking of doing a Warhammer one as a different thing. The real Holstater. Agreed, Arch, but how do we capture and maintain the means of production? It's not enough to say this is ours, even if there are woke elements. I think it might be enough. Honestly, I think it might be. Well, a lot of the burden will fall on content creators, essentially, to claim things. And then we need to do what the left did, which was what Starship Troopers is anti-fascist. And then we go, actually, it's not. Actually, it's pro my position instead. Which is kind of what we'll need to end up doing. Mechanicals on Duty, how close is the Enclave Reborn playthrough? Well over half, I think. Yes, it's at 340 out of 500 now, so it's well over half. Reverend Norse, I meant for April 1st, not as a funding goal. Oh, just like a stream? Maybe. Think about it. Evan Valenta, if you could tell one of your favorite accent tales to another ancient culture, which don't know of it, what tale would you tell and to whom? Ancient tales to another culture, which don't know tell to whom? Probably the foundation myth of Norse mythology, which includes a cow and a block of salt. And I'd tell it to... who would be most confused by this? I want to say the Romans. The Romans would be confused by that. Or the Egyptians. The Egyptians would be very confused by that too, but they'd get some of the points made. The DCV Titan AC China already exists. It doesn't. You're lying to me. Mercer X81. There is a poison pill baked in for Tencent. What? I kind of hope so. Trevor Noah, keep up the good work and alien isolation. Thank you, sir. YouTube, you're doing your dumb thing about crashing again. I'll just note that up to alien isolation.
Trick or treat, can I smell your feet?
And then Lum Lum breaks in again with her fucking feet fetish. All right. Let's keep going a bit.
That, like, for example, like, there's a lot of reasons why people use wheelchairs. Like, for example, like, some people use wheelchairs because they're literally paralyzed. Other people have different nerve problems. Some people are able to walk and, like, get up out of the wheelchair momentarily, but they're not able to walk long periods of time because I think, like, sciatic nerve damage, for example. And, like, there's a whole spectrum of this, right? So there's not LeBron James or quadriplegic iron lung, right? The reality is that you have a lot of people in the middle here, and if some, like, you really think she Are we really going to go are we going to go the distance and say that this woman bought a wheelchair for sympathy?
Yes. Yes, we are actually going to go that distance. Because again, we're playing team sports now. And in team sports, it's everything for my team and nothing for the other team. Maximum charitability for one side, absolutely no charitability whatsoever for the other side. This is the idea of oppressive tolerance. This is what this is. It's the left going, oh, hey, she's not really disabled, and therefore this crime is just not that bad. That's how it works.
A lot.
I mean, because if you're saying that, you losing your fucking mind, right? I mean, you're losing your mind.
They are losing their minds.
And I think that if that's what you're doing and that's what you're trying to say, you are clearly just fucking treading water and drowning. And you're like, no, she's faking the wheel. It's not a real wheelchair. It's fake. She's not really disabled. You are totally drowning. This is over. You've already lost. Okay.
But that, of course, does not prevent the human mind from attempting to defend itself. Again, this is one of those fascinating things about the human mind. Even if you're in a conversation and you know you're losing, even if you know you have no way out of this position, even if you are fully cognizant of the hole that you've dug for yourself, you will still keep digging. I'm sure most people have experienced that at some point when they're arguing with somebody and they've kind of realized that they're already wrong, but now they're just continuing. That is also one of those things that humans just do. For example, one of my positions that I hold on this is this is going to get me demonetized, but probably just on the actual video, so it's probably not that bad. It won't be permanent, probably. But I am 100% of the position that Wild Wild West is one of the best fucking movies ever fucking made, okay? Wild Wild West is genuinely an actual genuine masterpiece. And the soundtrack for it too is Will Smith's by far best fucking work. For a man who has throughout his entire career done in essence nothing but absolutely fuckface butcher every book he's ever touched in cinematic format, of course, Wild Wild West is his finest piece of work ever. And I know this opinion is wrong, but I hold it nevertheless, and you will not shift me from it. God. And the worst part is, too, they were so sure that movie would be such a success. Oh, God. Wild Wild West was like Concord today, right? Okay. Where Concord was created by people who were like, this is gonna be a franchise. Oh my God, this will conquer the world. That was Wild Wild West. Everyone thought it would be the biggest fucking hit ever. They thought it would be huge. They thought it would be mind-blowingly massive. This was going to be Will Smith's next big thing. And the man was a god back then, too. And it came out, and nobody watched it. Absolutely nobody. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if the music video has garnered more views than the movie has. It's kind of sad because it was actually really good. It was actually really good. It was tremendously good. It's a great fucking movie. Oh, and the slow chase through the cornfield with the fucking dumbass spinning blades. Oh my God. The the dumbass fucking saw blades, the ridiculous saw blade chase scene where he tries to kill our heroes by firing spider motif saw blades at them to chop their heads off, and our heroes just kind of run away as the saw blades just follow leisurely after them, just at such a slow pace that Will Smith and whoever the fuck the other guy was can't be caught by them. Oh my god. It is objectively one of the worst scenes in cinema history, and simultaneously as well, one of the best scenes in cinema history. He even winds them up as if they were fucking Beyblades. It's brilliant. It is just... Oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. So good. How did we get onto this? I have no idea. I have genuinely no idea how we got onto this. Zero Firewater on Rumble. You're forgetting creating new things and letting the old things die and gatekeeping the new stuff. If you claim the new stuff, and also you're wrong, part one, the work infests the things you claim by getting hired and the HR gatekeepers. One, because it's all women, and two, they are government mandated, so the low people are festive and will undermine the company. Yeah, but again, that's just kind of my point, though. If it really is that inevitable, what's even the point? If everything becomes leftist regardless, then roll over and die, I guess. Random Nobody, Arch, formerly Arch Warhammer. You want people to claim entertainment like ACD2 and Helldivers 2. How about the Fallout TV show? Possibly. Now, the Fallout TV show, was it popular? Sort of, I guess. Like, the Fallout TV show wasn't bad, but it wasn't good either. It was not good by any stretch of the imagination. It had qualities. I feel like that one is just best ignored, honestly, because it's not popular enough to really be worth attempting to claim. It'll probably just die in a season or two, tops. Marksman of 117 on Streamlabs. If DW wants to make money, they should bring back Lehman Russ, but he has become full Wolfkin. They could tap into that furry market. They alone could provide the financial strength to counter GW losses through their retardation. Acceleration for 40k. Embrace the furry market. It will save you. Right, back to the Wild Wild West.
Okay. And so, disability... Yeah, can we get a disability tier list in here? Because, like, there's one... I mean... Okay, actually, you know what? We've made enough woman...
Actually, we already have a disability tier list. Let's see. Damn it. I can't find a quick picture of it. But yes, we already have a disability tier. It is. It's called the Progressive Stack. I don't find a picture. Where its intersectionality is baseline, where you divide people. There we go. That's not a great one, but yes, we already have the tier list. Where you divide people based on race, based on gender identity, based on sex, sexuality, ability, class, etc. And the higher up on the progressive stack you are, the more authority and power you can wield within progressive circles. So, being a white racist, of course, lands you at the very bottom as non-human. But being a black trans gay person, ooh, you're pretty damn near close to the top now, but you are still below a black trans female gay person, who is again below a black trans female disabled gay person, and so on. We got the tier list, bruh. We already got it. It exists.
Jokes recently. I was gonna say, you know, anyway, let's move on. So yes, and to be fair, what is the rest of this? And to be fair, we have trans people keying and lighting cars on fire because they're mad at a guy for exposing fraud. Anything's possible. Yeah, sure, but like my point is that.
That's a great point too, though. The entire reason this is happening is because Elon Musk is reducing waste in government. Oh my god. The left-wing progressive communists are destroying property. Why? Because the government is growing smaller. Fuck me.
That, you know, if you're trying to figure out a reason why this isn't as bad as it is, you are part of the problem, and history will view you as the aggressor.
Well, that depends entirely on who wins, doesn't it?
Like, when you attack a person in a wheelchair and you destroy their property indiscriminately for some disconnected political goal, you are the bad guy. You're the one that did something wrong. You're the one that's not, you know, helping anything. You're the one that's committing the crime. Like, in 5 years, everybody is going to look at this and say, wow, what a fucking embarrassment.
I fucking hope so, but, I'm not necessarily quite as optimistic as Asmongold is.
This is pathetic. Did you see Musk calling out Hassan? No, I didn't see that. I'll have to go and take a look at it. But let me go.
Thick. Nikkei is doing some good stuff, okay? I might have to get back into Nikkei. I kind of don't want to, but it's a little difficult to resist.
Back and make sure, see if there's anything else about this that I was going to see. No, this is really the only part of it that I was going to look at. But either way, it's pretty embarrassing. It's very embarrassing. And I hope that the people, and this is the other thing, is that I actually think that videos like this hurt the optics of, like, these Tesla terrorists more than anything.
You don't say.
Because it destroys the argument that, you know, they're fighting against, like, a corrupt power system or something like that, when they have some woman who they're just destroying her car, and, you know, this is a disabled woman. There's a very clear right and wrong here. The same shit happened.
For a moment there, a derogatory term for a woman in a wheelchair popped up into my head, and it was so not okay that my brain deleted it before I could even consider saying it. And all I have left now is a vague after-image of what I was going to say before my internet filter kicked in and stopped me. I don't know if I'm proud that I've developed this ability or if I'm horrified that my brain is preactively censoring itself. It makes a certain degree of sense, though. Actually, okay, so we were kind of wrapping this one up here now, I imagine. So I kind of want to now look at the opposite viewpoint. So Asmongold is, oh, these people are fucking retarded, and this is terrible. And I now want to show you the people arguing that, no, they're actually entirely in the right. And it's the right wing that are the real threats to the world right now. But first, couple more. There's Buzz. Looking forward to the game you're making with Sargon. Going to do models as well. 3D printing will be a blessing and a curse for you, I suspect. Absolutely. We will be making models and we will be selling STLs. All of that stuff. All the good stuff. And eventually moving on to digitalize it entirely. Gab, I saw your last video where you covered Adam Ruins Everything. Please check out his video where he debunks all alpha males. You can debunk alpha males? Cinders, Arch, we should try to claim all Disney movies, The Lion King, Peter Pan, and Pinocchio, are honestly pretty based. Just think of the butthurt. That is true. That's a good point, actually. I mean, the entire point of The Lion King is literally rising to adulthood and becoming the alpha male father figure. Koa Pan. I think the issue with KCD2 is that we assume everyone is part of the culture war and Daniel Vavra was never actually part of it. He's just a normie responding to positive negative reinforcement. Very possibly, yes. It's the same thing with the Helldivers CEO, Pillestad. Now, he is significantly more left-wing, but he too has no idea about the political philosophies going on here. None whatsoever. He's completely in the dark about that. Seduction Doppelganger. If only one side uses violencia, I suppose, they win. True, they do. Next 21. Is that a thing on his back, part of his O2 tank? Maybe? I don't know, think about that. Mr. Frenzy, that is what we call impudent or impotent rage, yes. Sujard, what makes the gouging worse is if you don't take care of it, moisture will get in via the scratch and start rusting the frame. Really? I didn't think about that, but that makes logical sense. More to the Curry Fund. Dragon Joe, I've been saying Teslas are somewhere between boring and ugly for years, and they only get upset about it now. Shaking my head. Yep. Mercenaries 1, I had the same thing happen to me, and I caught the guy on video doing the same action as this guy just before he did $5,000 in damage to my car. The damage was over a Bible quote. Fucking lovely. Zenox and Doppelganger, if these leftist tactics work, the right must respond in kind. Eventually. Yes. But right now, the state is the right. The right has command of the state. All governments of the state. What should happen now isn't that the right should start bombing cars. It is that the right should start arresting everyone who not only bombs the cars, but everyone who talks about bombing cars. Again, the Patriot Act exists for a reason, and Hassan Piker seems like a lovely target for it. So, Jard, most of the US is red, it's just the cities that are blue. Even in deep red states, the cities are largely blue. How much to play Schedule 1? I have no idea. Like what, 500? That should cover my basic fees for thumbnails and stuff, I guess. Yeah, roundabout. Mr. Wolfgang, which is far more dangerous, an ideology or a psychopath? Oh, the ideology. No doubts about it. A psychopath can, just kill a few dozen people. That's nothing. An ideology? Ooh, now we're getting body counts out of it. Jesus here, look busy. Hi, Arch. You should have Danny the Pontius Fortuna back on the podcast. Yourself, Sargon, and Danny discussing 40k and gatekeeping would be great. Perhaps. Right. Also, before this one, I want to show you this. Because I think this is funny. And I think you need to see it. So here we have somebody who kind of looks like Whore Bubbles from the sadly cancelled Powerpuff TV show. Wearing a Powerpuff... I don't know what that is. A dress? I guess? Sorta? I suppose? But our female in question here is a prostitute. Or, I'm sorry, an internet prostitute. The same thing, just with the internet attached to it. And she has, she's meeting her biggest fan. And we'll see if the title is right here. This looked exactly as I imagined.
Introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Big Tony.
Big Tony.
I'm your #1 OF subscriber.
And how much have you spent?
$35K, $35,000.
Well, it's
$35,000. Big Tony's got a pretty good job.
It's nice to finally meet you.
Oh, you have soft hands. Finally, I got to touch him.
Oh, God. I really I really love the look on her face there too. Thanks. That is the look of a woman who realizes that she might just have made a very large mistake. That's such brilliant. I love it too, because it is like the best prison quote ever, isn't it? Like, my, you've got such soft hands. I fucking love that. I love that. I love that so much. But yeah, Big Tony here has spent $35,000 on his favorite OnlyFans girl, who is very happy to meet him. Isn't that just lovely? He's living the he's living the dream, chat. All of those people out there who are donating thousands to OnlyFans women in the hope of finally getting to meet them, he's living the dream. He's living that big life dream, chat. You know, chat, I will shake your hands for less than that. You give me 10 grand, and I'll shake your hand, and I'll look you in the eyes and go, my, what soft little hands you have. Any buyers? Fuck, I love the OnlyFans culture. I genuinely do. It is just brilliant. It has created a very fascinating social structure, hasn't it? I would rather shoot myself with a 50 gauge shot directly in my medulla oblongata than be this man. You know, I'm not even knocking the man that much. Honestly, he's got to have a pretty good job, I guess, to be able to pay 35 grand to a chick. He's clearly not skipping any meals either. Soft hands. I fucking love that. And hey, she'll get a lot more subscribers out of this, and she'll get a lot more big donors because they think that maybe they'll get to touch the soft hands too at some point. Sometimes you just gotta be a businesswoman, you know? And she's embracing that reality. Anyways, it's time for the BBC to tell us why men are evil. Oh, chat mentioned debt. There are actually tales of men going into debt over OnlyFans girls. That is a thing. Let's see if I can find here we go. So this was a funny one. Now, this is one of those, you don't know if it's a real thing or whatever, but I remembered this funny little Reddit post over here. My husband just threw our life away for OnlyFans, 3 months PPM. My husband is thousands of dollars in debt because of OnlyFans. We have a 3-month-old son. I found my husband's second phone. He has 3, so I found out. The phone and his paper trail show he's been paying thousands for OnlyFans since 2020. He has transactions on my birthday, my miscarriage. Oh, Jesus. And on the day our son was born via emergency C-section. And the debt is $30,000 in debt from OnlyFans. Oh, Jesus. And you know, for once, I am entirely on board with the woman. I love him dearly, but I have to walk away. Yes. No, unironically, for once, I am not going to be throwing any rocks against the woman here. Yes, it is time to leave. It was time to leave many, many years ago. $30,000 in fucking debt. And by the way, he had apparently 3 different OnlyFans accounts. And he was signing back up again. And apparently he even had an affair with a co-worker. How? Jesus. One wonders. One genuinely sort of kind of wonders. OnlyFans has done terrible things to humanity as a whole. Genuinely terrible things. Most next one on. Ironically, my car is a Toyota Prius. Well, in that case. And cops caught my guy, then traced his credit card. Good on you. It's awesome. Dark Innovator, hail Arch, our Lord and Savior. A recent epiphany I had is that, like the Earth, people think the political spectrum is flat. Hence, they justify fascism being just right-wing. But it's round. It is indeed round. The horseshoe is actually real. Murky Product becomes a member. Thank you very much, sir. And welcome, Zuluxum Doppelganger. If police are useless, vigilante justice. It's a smidge illegal, I'm afraid. But hey, if there's no justice system, why not? Marksman 117B, they raised the threat level of any Tesla crime to a felony, so police are incentivized to go after as a solving felony is used on their records for budget. That is good. That is a good first step. Malefka Sargon, it's the end times, Arch. It's going to get worse. It might. Cons 999, by the sound of it, they really want to return to mob justice. Overlord raising hell. I mean, I'm hard-pressed to find an argument for why mob justice wouldn't be better than what we currently have. And most next anyone. Emir, Germany can't be told art. It needs to be shown, or no one will believe it. We are being shown by the powers that be what they want for us. You're a bit on Streamlabs tips. Why is it okay when the left does it? Leftism is a mystery cult of power. How much for reading a review of Molbug's opinion letter to open-minded progressives? I do need to read that at some point. Holy fuck, is this? What the fuck is this? What the? I'm sorry. I saw something. Jesus. So apparently this popped up. $300,000 in debt? I hope not. Fuck. I hope. Okay, so it's. I don't know this guy, but this is Andy Warski, right? I don't even know. Andy Warski. Like he's probably is he around? Is he probably a kick? I'd wager. Jesus. I hope that's not true. The coffee thing. Huh. Well, I hope that's not true. I know, I don't want a quartering to be screwing up like that. That wouldn't be fun at all. But yeah, I just saw this in V's group chat, of all things. Damn. Well, that's a bit sad. Well, from one sad news to another sad thing, I guess. Contains mentions of suicide. You have been warned, chat.
In the last 10 years, there's been an awful lot of campaigns that are You know, chat to your mates, check in with them. It's like, what does that actually look like? How do you actually give people the tools to have those conversations? And I think it is about being directly honest and not being scared to use words like...
This guy looks a lot more like I would have thought he would look than I knew. So this is the BBC, the Big Black Cock Network, also known as the British Broadcasting Network, who had a fascinating little thing saying, "Big boys Jack Roke, the dial is turning towards men who forgot the baseline of empathy," which is an interesting topic that kind of tails in with the recent adolescence thing, which I did a video on. And the UK has had a lot of, indeed, campaigns like this, the Are You OK campaign, because the UK has had a rather brutal spike in suicides among men, and whilst when that happens with women, it's a national emergency, when it happens to men, you get an advertisement campaign with flyers going, "Hey, you okay?" Standing on the side of a fucking building about to jump. Yeah!
Be honest and not being scared to use words like suicide with somebody who you're worried about.
Jack, meet Danny.
Jack and Danny. Cockney rhyme is saying for Fanny, isn't it?
After 2 years of discovering ourselves at uni, it was time to get serious.
Jack, talk to me about your big D.
What? I ain't got Scooby, what to write my disso on.
It's Scooby-Doo, not Scooby-Doo.
From the very origins of writing Big Boys, I knew exactly where I wanted it to go. I did lie to Channel 4. I did think...
We've all done that.
We've all lied to Channel 4. I thought if I say this is ultimately a comedy about suicide, they're going to tell me absolutely not. What are you thinking?
I didn't make it, did I?
Narrative device, because I quite self-indulgently narrate the series about my own life, but there was a sort of purpose to that, to kind of ensure that by the end of this series, by the end of the whole show, there was an ending in which we had lost Danny and an ending in which we hadn't. And I think...
but I don't care about your TV show. Get to the point.
That happens. Cancer happens. Disease happens. It's biological. It's something about suicide that in particular feels like such an injustice because you know it's a waste of opportunity. It's
some way. Reaching at him,
yeah.
You're imagining how he might have visioned his own life. So there's a lot of agency there, which I found very moving. But men,
yes,
where are men moving about being vulnerable and talking? I mean, they obviously
there we go.
Are moving a bit.
Yeah.
But the figures are that under 30, suicide is the biggest killer of men and women.
Yeah.
But 3/4 of all suicides are men.
Yeah.
So there's the statistic, right? 75% of suicides are men. Yet you still get it's the bigger killers among men and women. But it's overwhelmingly a man problem. And how can this be addressed? Is there any way to address this? Well, we can't talk about it seriously. It doesn't get debates in Parliament. Keir Starmer isn't going to get up on his little podium and talk about how this is a great threat to the nation and billions must be spent to protect them. No, we get a comedy skit. We get a comedy show written about this. That's what we get. It's like, oh, but we have to turn it into a joke. Why do we have to turn it into a joke? We have to turn it into a joke because the actual serious answer to why men in England in particular are choosing to self-delete themselves at such a remarkable rate is because the entirety of England is one big fucking feminist prison. A societal prison where men are trapped, they are cowed, they are underrepresented, and they are not appreciated. They don't have anybody to reach out to. One interesting statistic is that there is a woman's shelter in every major settlement in England, every village. See if I can find a... Let's see if I can find the... There was like a map or something I saw. Let's Let's see, where is it? I don't know if I can find the damn map. Map. Damn. Google is not cooperating right now. Anyways, the point is, there's a lot of them. Women's shelter, quite common. They receive a lot of money, and it's viewed as a genuine problem. Whereas,
I have lost.
There's no such thing as a shelter for men. It doesn't exist. There is no equivalent program for men. There is no equivalent outreach for men. Men are largely just left to fend for themselves, and they always have been. And in part, this is actually an element of the solution. Because men do need to deal with their issues in a very different way than women. But this entire thing, too, is, of course, it's a comedy, because you can't talk about the feminine problem that causes this. Drowning in estrogen and femininity is one of the large causes for this, which is why the only way to address it is in the form of a joke.
So there obviously is masculinity and mental health are linked.
Yeah, completely. And I think that plays a part in the fact that we see more men, you know, unfortunately become in the statistic of lost to suicide.
You're going to be screening this in your own old uni.
Yeah.
Well, that's it. The link between masculinity and suicide. Now, I suspect their point is that masculinity is actually a driving force to suicide, or I would argue the opposite.
What's the reaction you're getting off 20-year-olds to this series?
I think a lot of young people feel like it's still incredibly timely. I mean, I set Big Boys in 2013 to 2016.
But the men.
But we were still talking about masculinity then. I remember going to university and Robin Thicke, his song Blurred Lines was #1, a song that was really accused of misogyny and sexism, and I mean, it was accused of it. It was it to a degree.
And there we go.
And I think we've had this conversation about masculinity for a long time. It ebbs and flows, it comes in waves. I think the most important thing to do is to suggest to young men that there is another option aside from the seductive radicalism that is sometimes there in a lot of kind of prominent online male figures.
So yeah, I was entirely correct. Masculinity is to blame for the male suicide rates, in this guy's opinion. Masculinity is not the problem. The absence of masculinity is the problem. The fact that men, in many cases, no longer do not even know what it is to be a man. That all of the problems to men's issues need to be feminine ones. The solution to your problems is to sit and chat. It's to have a nice conversation with your psychiatrist. It is to be judged by a woman. No. The solution to male shortcomings is usually the exact opposite to all of this. Right? Now, I've never gone quite that far to like straight up suicidal thought, but I too had a period in like my early 20s where I was considering like self-harm stuff, basically. Nothing major, you know, I'm not asking for any sympathy or anything, don't get me wrong. It was a very short period of my time that I'm not very proud of, but it was because I was lost at that time. I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do. I didn't know where I was going to go, what I was going to do for employment, how I was going to make it on my own, you know, how to become independent, in essence. I didn't know any of that, because I hadn't been told how to do any of that. Lum, don't interrupt me with your fucking feet right now. Wench, god damn it. Because society didn't really, you know, lay anything out other than the simple pathway, which is you go to school, you pick a trade, and you work that trade until you die. That's man's role in society right now. You go to school, you get an education, you learn to do a thing, and then you do that thing until you're fucking dead. That's it. That is That is the role for men in modern day society. Being laborers. That is all. Everything else is secondary and is usually not focused on, and is certainly not explained or laid out. Like the act of being a caretaker, for example, is largely not necessary, at least not as far as society is concerned. You're not taught in school that you should find somebody and start a family with them and take care of a woman. In fact, the very idea would no doubt be viewed as sexist, as misogynistic, as judgmental. How dare you suggest that a woman can't hold her own? So that's not really a thing. Okay. What else is there? Becoming a warrior, defending your nation? That's largely shamed too. And you're certainly not going to become like a warrior in the old context, right? Of a beacon of masculinity. As, well, we got mostly weekend warriors. Hell, our army is so small, we can't even afford to keep it most of the time. So that's not a thing. Okay, so being a provider isn't really talked about. Going into the military or doing other masculine pursuits is looked down upon. What other things do we have? Well, physical contact sport is largely banned in Norway. I think boxing is still illegal. Kickboxing is, of course, absolutely illegal, and so on. Boxing for, like, entertainment, by the way, like videos. I think you can still train it, but, everything needs to be very nice and cushy and padded. Everything needs to be hyper safe and feminized again. And again, none of this is encouraged either through the schooling. You are raised in a very feminine manner. You are raised in, at best case scenario, at least an affirmative manner, where they go like, oh yeah, you can do whatever you want, and they'll actually help you to try and do what you want to do. Now, that is the ideal, is that whilst going through school, you decide, okay, I really like working with my hands. I want to be a craftsman. And then, indeed, you can probably go through the schooling system, pick up a trade, and live happily and fulfilledly. But if you don't want to be a craftsman, or you don't have an idea of what you want to do, as again, the only focus is on labor, and labor alone, you can easily feel very lost. Meanwhile, for women, they are given a far broader range of opportunities. They are encouraged to be far more creative. Society, being a feminine society, caters far better to their needs. They are told that they can be designers, artists, they can be models, they can make clothes. They are encouraged with success stories. Like, look at Tone here from Norway. She's making clothes for the runway in France. There are even special loan programs given to women exclusively in Norway, where women get access to beneficial loans. Like, they have easier access to capital than men simply because they have a vagina. There are commercials on TV directed against them. Hey, why don't you make a business? We'll give you the money. There's nothing like this for men. It doesn't exist. There are practically no programs intended for bringing up a man. And there certainly isn't anything to, provide an alternative to figure out something to do and do it till you fucking die. Now, my salvation, of course, was internet and going like, okay, they're making a new Total War game, and it's going to be a Warhammer game. Well, I fucking love Warhammer, and I fucking love Total War. So I took the plunge of starting to make YouTube videos like a decade ago now, God help me. And that was what I wanted to do. I enjoy it tremendously. I love it. And it's not simply a labor I will do until I die. I am blessed with the fact that I have a career, something I like doing. And far too many people are denied that. And it's not even just about labor in and of itself either. At some point, you have to, work a job to be able to live. Of course, everybody knows that. You've got to do something to eat food. I've done that too. Everyone has done that, right? But it is how society approaches that prospect, and how, with women, we are very encouraging, very friendly, very supportive, and men are kind of just expected to get along with it, to do whatever it takes. Like, nobody really gives a shit. Is it a surprise, then, that suicides are vastly higher amongst men? Not really. And the answer is not more feminism. That's the problem, in fact.
Let's say.
Poster boys. Your show's called Big Boys, but it's easy to find very sort of muscular, masculine figures for me as a young guy to...
Yeah.
And also look at politics. What do you think about the very strong, the Donald, the very strong Elon?
Yeah.
Elon's very strong. Vladimir Putin, he's very strong. He can kill people. I mean, where do you feel the dial is shifting in leadership around the world? Is it strong men?
I think that the dial is turning to men who forget kind of baselines of empathy. I think you can still be an incredibly strong, powerful, defiant man, but still have empathy for the person who is the opposite to you.
So there's the baseline of empathy. Now, we talked about this a little bit last week as well. How to define empathy. And right now, we are always defining empathy in the broadest possible context, the out-group preference context, where you must have empathy for everything. You must have empathy for the birds. You must have empathy for the bees. You must have empathy for people in Syria, in Gambia, in Nairobi, in China. And the empathy grows so toxic that on several occasions, it has been demonstrated as outright ridiculous and actively detrimental to human society. Like, for example, the Hug a Chinese Day. Remember that? Remember Hug a Chinese Day? During the early days of the coronavirus outbreak, I am not a virus, I am a human, eradicate the prejudice. This was shortly before the entire world went into a full-scale lockdown that would last for fucking years. There exists no clearer and more fucking glowing example of toxic empathy than this. It's absurd. It's like nobody's saying that the Chinese are a virus. They're saying if the virus comes from China, maybe we should take a distance from China on a larger plane, on a political plane. But this was, of course, viewed as racism against the Chinese, which the left shut up about awfully quickly when it became apparent that the coronavirus would be a better tool for change than accusing everybody of racism would be. This is not the empathy that suits most men. Hell, most human beings, frankly. I think you need to trick yourself into having empathy for absolutely everybody. You can have empathy for other people, obviously. I have empathy towards the young girl who was gang raped by immigrants, for example. I can have empathy for people getting bombed in Gaza because their leadership decided to shoot at the vastly more militarily powerful neighboring state again. However, my empathy for all of these people will always remain fairly superficial because I don't know them. I don't know what they look like. I don't know what their voice sounds like. I have very little connection to them. My empathy remains fairly theoretical, but you can still possess it. In fact, humanity has done this and has demonstrated this for ages. Why do you think the Western world has poured trillions, uncounted trillions, into Africa? It is because we do indeed have the ability to be empathetic towards people we don't know. The problem is when you try to feel more empathy for a person in Ghana than you do for your own countrymen. When you have so much empathy for the immigrant that raped the 12-year-old girl that you give him a 15-month probation sentence instead of cutting his balls off. That is toxic empathy. And it is the exact opposite of masculinity. The exact opposite. And I do not believe you can have a strong, defiant man, as this guy says, who is ruled by empathy. Because you're simply then ruled by the wills of others. How could you possibly be defiant if your primary virtue is the needs of others? You place yourself unavoidably in a subservient position. You have become every other person on Earth's servant, which is exactly what is happening in Western societies. Why is England declaring that the NHS is for everyone? It is precisely because of that. It is the idea that you have become the rest of the world's slave. You are now providing healthcare to anyone who manages to physically make it to England. And that is obviously destructive.
I think that's an inherent part of kind of being a good leader, as far as I'm concerned. And it's sort of what Big Boys is about. Big Boys in many ways is about your more traditionally straight lad's lad geezer becoming really close friends with a kind of quite dweeby gay guy, kind of slightly based on me. And the two of them are at different ends of the spectrum of masculinity, but they find they have so much more in common. They choose each other. They go into social situations still taking the mickey out of one another.
I'm not pretentious. You stop watching X Factor. They've replaced Louis with Rita Ora. What? This country has gone to pot.
Danny, I think at one point in Series 1 enters a gay club and is like, this is mad.
Which is actually kind of intriguing too, because that kind of suggests that the counter poison to too much femininity is precisely a dose of masculinity. Scarf the Strange, don't mistake empathy for martyrdom. Exactly. There is degrees to all of this. There are great degrees. One can possess empathy for another without needing to kill yourself for the sake of the other. Surprisingly. The Zartek, you're conflating empathy and sympathy. Well, somewhat, but empathy is sympathy. When we're using empathy in this context, we are literally using it as the ability to identify with an other. You must be able to have empathy to be able to feel sympathy for somebody else. Because if you can't identify them, you can't imagine what they're going through, why would you ever have sympathy towards them, other than as a purely theoretical, hypothetical emotion? So I do think there's a distinct difference between the two. I think one flows, in fact, directly from the first. The subject, having actual empathy for someone who is actually outright oppressing you is to be disgusted once you contextualize it through your own knowledge. Having actual empathy for someone who is actually outright oppressing you is to be disgusted is to be disgusted once you can analyze through your own knowledge. I don't quite catch the flow there. Scarf the Strange, classic case of start with desired conclusion and look for evidence to support it. Analog Mind. Ideology is often what inhibits the soulless husk of a psychopath. More and more evidence of this fact every day. That's an interesting idea. I'll think on it some more. The real scientist, remember when I said men are a slave class in the West and your panel objected? I remember. You exist for the matriarchy. I mean, hell, I agree. At this point, I agree. Dean Domino's 25, it comes in waves. These guys shot at masculinity with an artillery barrage. You should have Honey Badger Arcade on to talk about this sometime. Honey Badger Arcade. The thing is, I don't know any of these people. You tell me about people, and I'm like, who? Honey Badger Arcade? Well, this person is using the Gamergate girl as a VTuber, so that's something. I'll make a little note out of it. The Nico Bozo, I believe that mankind evolves slower, it can understand technology. I believe that mankind evolves slower, it can understand. We are at a magical level of technology, while some people alive saw the first color TV. Oh, yeah, we are. We are currently living, well, we lived in the golden age of technology. We've slowed drastically since then, but we have already lived through the golden age of technology. So, John, that reminds me of Earl Silverman, who unalived himself after he was abused for months after trying to get support for a male abuse shelter. Really? I haven't heard about that, but that sounds about right, yeah. This next one. There was a men's shelter, but the government shut it down. That also sounds like something that would happen. Father Jack the Enlightened, there was a male shelter, I think in Canada, but the government got involved. A lot of slander and hate from feminazis pushed the guy to Minecraft. Yep, that sounds about right. Axiom Seraph, men self-delete when they have problems in their life that they can't figure out how to solve, or make a calculation that it isn't worth the effort. Yes. Despair. Despair appears to be one of the leading causes of male suicide. And again, is despair often formed, and I'm no expert on this subject, but just from my own experience, despair seems to be formed from an inability to understand what to do next, and to not have any frame of reference or understanding of what to do now. Like, you can't conceptualize of why you are here and where you should go from here. And that has a lot to do with the fact that, again, society doesn't really answer any of those questions for men. They don't provide you with any solutions or even any role models. Again, this is why I brought this up in the adolescence video. The fact that we killed James Bond. Like, holy shit. Is there any clearer indicator of the fact that we have completely abandoned the male side of entertainment, of everything, than the fact that we fucking killed James Bond? The man was the actual unironic epitome of alpha male masculinity. He was the gentleman role model, and we replaced him with a black woman, and then we fucking shot him. It's like, it's on the level of parody. It is what it is. I know. Well, I haven't missed them. I just haven't gotten to the super chats yet. I know. I was working my way up from the more immediately irrelevant ones. And Pierce Brosnan is the best James Bond, by the way. I don't want to hear none of you Sean Connery cucks out there, okay? I don't want to hear it. Pierce Brosnan is the best James Bond, all right? No discussion, no debate here. Sean Connery had his moments, okay? Ian Fleming as well was good on occasion. But Pierce Brosnan is James Bond. Simply the truth. You may cope and seethe all you like, but it's the correct opinion.
Bad, but he's still there and he's still not intimidated by it. He's able to kind of, you know, laugh with and at it in a sort of respectful, fun way.
So how are you watching the new White House as the creator of Big Boys?
Oh, I mean, I'll be really honest. My favourite show of all time is Veep. My favourite comedy is Veep. And
Of course it is. So, Veep, by the way, is a comedy show that is actually kind of funny a little bit. I watched like one season of it, I think, and it wasn't bad. It was actually kind of good. But the very problem here is, again, oh god, we cannot escape this turgid well of estrogen that has just poisoned the entirety of society. Because that's kind of what Veep is. Veep is a reverse West Wing. It is a glorification of incompetence in the most feminine form imaginable. It's only funny in that it presents a reality that is so utterly fucking demoralizing that you can but pray that they made this shit up. And take this in comparison to another show. So this might be a bit too old for many of you younglings out there who don't understand that Pierce Brosnan is the best goddamn James Bond. The West Wing. The West Wing is a political drama series from what? I want to say like the absolute end of the 90s, like 1998, 1999 or something probably. That had, and it's fascinating. It is fascinating to watch today because a lot of the progressive talking points that we are currently suffering under, you can see the beginnings of in West Wing. You can see there's an episode where they argue that children should be allowed to vote. Motherfucking no. Motherfucking no. A child has no commitment to society. A child has no attachment to society. A child hasn't even encountered the hell of paying taxes yet. A child is simply a programmed beep-boop Tamagotchi for his fucking teachers. No, we are not going to allow children to vote, you fuckwits. It brings up issues of very progressive ideals of racism and sexism, etc. All of that shit. There's a surprising amount of progressivism in the West Wing show. But it is also a very competently written drama. I do recommend it. The West Wing is a good piece of television. It's got is the 5th season the last season? Maybe? It's got a lot of episodes, like an hour long or something. It's a good show. It is absolutely worth watching even today. In fact, even more so today, because you will be able to see so many of the points they put forward in this really maybe this is a good point, as you're shouting at the screen, no, you dumb troglodyte. It'll give you a fantastic example of just how much politics have progressed, of how much philosophy has advanced from an era of what everything progressive is just kind of sounded okay because they were using the tools of positive language, because they were speaking to us in a nice way. They were framing things like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if? Oh, hey, look at this young boy. He's so clever. He's so articulate. Shouldn't he be allowed to vote? And back in the early 2000s, we were like, oh, that's a cute little child. He parrots opinions he was taught. Wow. And today, I'm like, no. And little Timmy, what are you doing away from the coal mines? The West Wing is actually genuinely worth watching, though. Although, I would highly recommend that you watch a bit of West Wing, and then you detox yourself with Pacific Blue. Right. Pacific Blue is a television series that is ridiculously popular in Norway, okay? We have reruns of this show running to this day, and this is from, 1998 or something? Holy fuck, 1996, Jesus criminy. It is stupendously old, but it is the most classic of classic old school shows. It's kind of inspired by Baywatch, basically, and it never took off in America at all. But it has a cast of really attractive characters doing attractive stuff and solving crimes and hunting down evil criminals on their dumb little bikes and wearing their dumb little bike shorts. It's a good show. It's actually a good show. And the worst part is it ends on the... It's from back in the day when they thought that cliffhangers were a good idea to guarantee they get another season. And it does that. It ends on a fucking cliffhanger of sorts. I go... Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. But it'll be good to detoxify yourself from White House. Or West Wing. There you go. Alright, before we get into more feminism... the real Zartax, just call the shelter and identify as a woman. You got better chance of doing that. And the real Zartax of Streamlabs. Why are you donating on both, you little tard? Donate on Streamlabs. I'll get more of your money that way. Terrorism works. Any cursory knowledge of history tells you this. A group utilizing terrorism can only be defeated through total destruction. I gave up trying to get this super through the YouTube filter. Now, that is only partially true, mind you, because bear in mind, one of the leading terrorist movements throughout history was the anarchist movement, and the anarchists never got fucking anywhere, basically. Terrorism can work, but it usually doesn't work very well. In fact, it can lead to some serious backlashes. Terrorism on the left with communism and syndicalism, more correctly at the time, in Italy, for example, gave the fascists the opportunity to seize power by going, hey, you sick of having your factories shut down? You sick of spiraling inflation because the fucking commies want to take over the grain mill? You sick of not being able to earn food because the fucking farmers? Vote for us. We'll beat the fuck out of them. And it worked. In Germany, same thing. In Germany, the revolutionaries moved up and was, we're gonna create communism, rah, 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 rah. And the fascists went like, we'll beat them for you. We will hit them with sticks. Vote for us. And people were like, yes, beat them, beat them. And that is exactly what happened. And I do have a sneaky suspicion that beat them might be the answer to the American domestic terrorism as well. So Jard, I still remember when that slur, Jess Phillips, laughed at a guy trying to bring up male suicide rate. Oh god, yes. One of the reasons for Sargon's grape joke. I remember that, yes. What was it? Sharp fucking advertisement. Let's see, I think I... yes. This one here. We can just have a look at this one. Because it beautifully illustrates the point, doesn't it?
Because, of course, not only do we have International Women's Day, we also have women and equality questions every month in the Chamber, which we don't have for men. So the opportunity for men to raise issues that are important to them is very limited. And just to give you a flavour, Mr. Chairman, of the type of things that may come up and which will be part of International Men's Day. I'm not entirely sure why it's so humorous, but to discuss issues such as...
You have to excuse me for laughing, that the idea that men don't have the opportunity to ask questions in this place is a frankly laughable thing. As I say, as the only woman on this committee, it seems like every day to me is...
Well, I wasn't making... With respect, I wasn't making that point. I wasn't making the point that men don't have an opportunity to ask. I was about men's issues.
And that is the key to that. See, that also is the feminist lens right there. Jess Phillips, who laughs at the idea of men's issues being raised, looks around and sees other men. Thus, as a pure gender ideologue warrior, thinks, okay, well, all of these men are obviously just pushing forward men's issues. There being men here means that men's issues are being raised by the men, because we're all gender ideologues. Whilst Philip Davis's point is simply that no, all of the men around you are fucking feminists. They're all on your team. They've all sworn allegiance to you. They're all soft, panty-whipped shit stains that will simply speak as you allowed them to speak. That's exactly the point. And of course, it eventually evolved even further, as we also did a video on this week, till the point where men's issues are debated by 3 women on whether or not feminism should bring up men's issues. Because that is where this will end. When you only have gendered ideologues in power, eventually you will arrive at, it seems we have achieved absolute dominance. Haha! Time to crush the opposition. Which is also, of course, happening as well.
I sometimes think it was so immensely radical, more radical than perhaps I ever thought it would be. And I think I sort of look at a lot of political leaders now, And I suppose I do believe that we need strong leadership, and we also need people who are trying to appeal to the working classes. But I think we need empathy to be the key factor in how they run countries, governments, or organisations, full stop.
And again, we return to the sacred cow, empathy. The only value the left recognizes and the only value the left possesses. Empathy. Empathy, but never empathy for those who are close to you. Never empathy, as Jess Phillips demonstrates, to your own. Empathy for everything else. And bear in mind, this will not continue. The communists did not display a whole lot of empathy for non-communists. The Soviet Union did not display a lot of empathy for other nations, unless they could try to co-opt them and take them over. Empathy, in the way the West wields this, or West-left wields this, is a weapon. That is all. It is an argument for you to destroy yourself. It is for you to open your country to foreign hordes. It is never an argument for that to happen in other places. You must throw open your doors, you must give of your pantry, you must hand out your wealth, your benefits to anyone who may ask, but don't you fucking dare ask that your concerns be voiced too. Which is why Jess Phillips laughed when it was suggested. The problem isn't that the dial is turning towards men who forget the baselines of empathy. The solution is that the dial is turning towards people who recognize that there is a baseline for empathy, and that maybe we should just stick to it, rather than simply go insane and destroy ourselves. Which is what we're doing today. Rublex623, hate to bring it down the mood and further include rage, but I just looked up that Austrian story. They got her pregnant. Yep, I know. It was in one of the articles I brought up where she had to abort the baby. MJ Bull 515, the thought #1 fan shows how society needs shame. It kind of does. You know, that's actually true, though. Then it's actually unironically true. Okay. Think about your position. Put yourself in the shoes of Big Tony here. You are Big Tony, okay? Would you willingly go on a show and record yourself in full public, sat opposite the Powerpuff Girl here, and brag out loud that you are her #1 OnlyFans fan, that you have spent $35,000 of your money to touch a woman's hands? Would you like that? Is that something that sounds appealing to you, chat? No, I don't think so. Oh, hey, Lum Lum. What? What's Lum Lum crying about now? Fine, I'll go into the stream room. I'm going to the stream room for Lum Lum. It's obviously insane. Like, again, back in the day, we used to indeed have shame. We used to indeed have shame so that you wouldn't put yourself in a position where you would display your shame in public. Because you would recognize that spending $35,000 on a whore is not a good position. It is not a position that is likely to gain you friends or influence. In fact, it is a position likely to get you mocked roundly by pretty much everyone. And generally speaking, a handshake isn't really quite worth it. No matter how soft her hands may be. God help me. Yeah, no, perhaps shame is indeed the solution to many a problem. I mean, at least then he'd be like, no, like, listen, I really like your tit pics and all, but I'm not humiliating myself and like this. Oh. Well, can I... Did anything else go? Okay, let me see if I can... Lutz 3. Can I find the entirety of this interview? I wonder. Instagram? I do not possess Instagram.
Service guarantees citizenship.
Nope. It's just this, I think.
So what about you giving $35,000 to an OnlyFans chick to touch your arch?
Lum.
Yes.
Unlike Big Tony, I know that whores are significantly cheaper than $35,000.
I mean, I'm sure they're cheaper than $35 even, so.
$35? Lum. I feel as if you're taking the profession of sex work a little bit too lightly here. And surely she's got an entire series of this where she asks people how much money they've spent on her.
Arch already offered to do it for $10K. Huh?
That's true. I will sell handshakes for $10K.
Oh, you little whore.
If I'm charging 10,000 grand for a handshake, Lum, I think I'm a pretty big whore, actually. That makes me a successful prostitute. It's a difference.
So, what exactly brought you onto the topic of OnlyFans whores again?
She's uploaded this same clip like 5 times with slightly different editing. I'm confused and upset by this.
Trick or treat. Is this her official page or is this a fan page? Because with only 905 likes, that doesn't seem very successful.
No, Lum, you can't lick the feet. Bad, Lum. Down.
God damn it.
It's definitely my new favorite donation thing. There we go. I'll share the screen. I don't even know. But hey, you know, being a successful whore is better than being an unsuccessful whore, so...
I'm just waiting for modern day Jack the Ripper and to be like, oh no, how could this have happened? We never seen this coming. It's like, no. You guys seen this from a mile fucking way. You just want to put these girls up on a pedestal and be like, oh, look at them. They're so strong. Oh, look at them. They're so brave. Ugh.
Sigh. Heavy sighs. Is there anything more from this feminine-looking man here?
In the politics of our own country, the government says it hasn't got enough money for the needs at the moment in welfare. It's got to cut that. And there's often been concern about where the welfare money is spent on mental health. Is that something you're following in policy terms? Do you think that we could be in a mental health crisis?
I think
we're not in a mental health crisis. We are in a masculinity crisis.
Yeah. It's like, I said this on my own stream a few days ago. I think we are taking mental health in too much of an account. Now, it seems like we are overcorrecting. It's like, oh, you can't charge this person with first-degree murder because they're going through a mental health episode. No, I don't care if they were going through a mental health episode. If they murdered somebody, they need to be locked up.
Well, mental health is obviously a real thing, all right? But the problem is we've turned mental health into something that doesn't provide a solution in many cases. When mental health simply becomes the adolescence argument of the woman looking down judgmentally at the boy and like, don't you understand that you're wrong and male? It doesn't help. I don't think any amount of therapy from a woman, frankly, will fix a man who's struggling with what it means to be a man. They'll just do exactly the same as in adolescence. But like, well, what does it mean for you to be a man? And he's like, oh, fucking no, I've never been told.
It's just like, from what I've heard from male friends of mine, is that, you know, they'll continue to dick around and just do whatever in school if there's a female teacher, because there's no aura of authority. You're not gonna, like, they're not gonna listen to a woman when she says like, oh, you need to behave. But as soon as they got into high school and there was the military academy, those guys straightened the fuck up, because, you know, if they wanted to avoid getting hit with a meter stick,
I have lost.
They listened to the men that were like, you know, saying, okay, you need to do this. Your uniform needs to be pressed every night. There shouldn't be a single wrinkle in there or anything. They need an authority figure, someone that they know that theoretically can beat the shit out of them into submission if they fuck up.
Yes.
A woman can't do that.
Well, this is the fundament of all authority. As they say, violence is the ultimate authority. That is correct. And we can philosophize all we want around it. We can add in as many quotation marks on the savagery of man and the need to be better as we wish. But violence is the ultimate authority from which all other authority is derived. A 13-year-old boy can beat up a woman. And so when they arrive at that point, they look at the woman and think to themselves, holy shit, I could beat you up. Why should I listen to you? And if the woman's only answer is, well, you can't because that wouldn't be very nice, it's not really an argument. However, when you come to the military, as you say, and a 220-pound ripped black man by the name of Denzel that looks like he could bench press you with one arm tells you to bend on over and clean your fucking locker, you do. It's very simple.
Yeah. It's like, I honestly think there should be more male teachers that can, you know, command respect out of his classroom. Because, like, I get that you need to, I guess the right word is nurture students into being, like, you know, in the best learning environment. But, like, some students, if they have a history of being a little unruly, but not enough to the point where they need to go in the special ed room, there should be, like, specialized male teachers that they know kids will listen to. But there's no budget for that. Or they really don't fucking care.
Or you need to train the teachers as well, because there are also ways for women to command respect amongst young boys beyond the sheer violence. But you need to then instill that respect. The teacher must be an entity of respect. The position must command respect. And to do that, they must behave in a way that deserves respect constantly. They can't let it slip up either, because then the respect disappears. You must have respect for the authority of the position. If you cannot gain respect through physical intimidation, which is at the core of all male-to-male communication, you're going to have to win it through authority. And this is also a parenthood thing. One of the reasons why kids behave at school is because of the threat of having your parents called, of course. But again, if there's nobody in the house that can instill respect within the young boy, then why the fuck should he call? Oh, you're gonna call my mom? Great, she's probably drinking herself to death anyways. Well, fuck do I care?
Yeah, I've been looking into the modern day school system, especially with the Gen Z, Gen Alpha students, and it's honestly really fucking sad. A lot of teachers who do love teaching are just leaving in droves because these students will either yell at them, some will try to beat them, and it's sad. It's so fucking sad. There's this like 70-year-old teacher that just walked out of her classroom saying she can't handle it anymore. All of her students just started laughing at her. I don't know what the hell's going on. It's like the schools in my area, at least all the teachers still love their job. These students are well taken care of, but it's the larger cities. It's these states who hardly have a budget for their schools and they don't care anymore.
And this is why we need to bring back caning.
I agree.
The stick is a tool to be used, not discarded.
I think we're already in one. I think we've been in one. I mean, I have been.
The welfare cuts due to.
I mean, he is actually right. We are in a mental health crisis, as in we are in a female crisis. There you go. And God, the look on this man too. The glasses do not help. It makes him look like a very old aunt.
It's the glasses, it's the hairline, it's like way up there. It's living on top of his head.
The curls. This man is not doing himself any favors.
This man was unfortunately beat by the unfortunate stick of ugly.
Or, as we say, fell down the ugly tree, hitting every branch on the way down. No, like it's not even that. Like it's his presentation that's the problem. He's obviously been styled for this because his clothing sense is pretty solid, right? But the glasses, the hair, the teeth, Britain. God help Britain. Well, I think that's all we're going to get out of the empathy baseline there. God damn it. Empathy should be a bad word. We need to turn empathy into a bad word again.
I mean, people get empathy and sympathy mixed up so often.
Can I smell your feet?
Well, it's because one comes from the other, lum.
Yes, but they use it incorrectly.
That's true. I opened up Twitter to see if there was anything else interesting going on. That isn't.
Did you talk about the whole Tencent and Ubisoft thing?
I did.
Let's see what else is there. Warner Brothers is demolishing the Looney Tunes building for more space for HBO.
They do. They're going to sell it to China. I look forward to it.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's been going on lately besides Australia still being Australia. I'm sorry for whoever lives there. And I still need to watch that documentary, movie, whatever you sent me. I'll do that tonight after the podcast.
You do? No, it's just women being women. My Twitter has been particularly full of women being women recently. It seems to be a trend.
I mean, your timeline is curated by what you click and look at.
I dispute that.
Yeah.
If that was true, there'd be a lot more just cat pictures and VTubers, honestly. Instead, I get chocolate ass cheeks.
What the hell? Chocolate ass. Okay.
Chocolate ass cheeks, indeed. Right. Nothing else interesting. Goddamn.
Are we saving the Harley Quinn talk for Saturday?
Are we talking about Harley Quinn? Oh, right. Yeah, we'll have Lum Lum voice act Harley Quinn for you all. Only got through.
Said, be happy.
Videos. I was hoping to go through two more videos, but only got through 2 videos because I keep getting distracted.
I mean, you have to read your super chats. I wouldn't say that's distraction.
I need to do that too before I need to go and do actual work. Lum Lum just comes in at the last moment to claim the glory.
What glory?
I don't know. But
Lum Lum fears the Sargon? No, Lum Lum would like
Does.
to meet the Sargon one day.
I am
But
protecting Sargon from Lum Lum.
I mean, do you think when the new Odyssey comes out next year, do you think I can yap with you guys so we can dismantle the movie bit by bit?
No?
Oh,
Sargon must be kept safe from the degeneracies that I feature on the ArchCast.
but Lum Lum can behave. Lum
Safe.
Lum knows how to behave.
Separate. I'll expose him to Savvy, but that's only because chat was good chat and gave 1,000 likes. If you want Lum Lum as well, that's going to be another 1,000 likes on each stream, at least, chat.
Arch. So when is Archly and Lum gonna play Forever Winter? I don't know, Arch, when are you gonna play more Forever Winter with me?
They did get rid of the water mechanic, which is nice, but
Yes. They also
But-
added a few new maps that look absolutely amazing.
it still seems like a weird map. Game. Thing.
Is it because you just want to run and gun and not die?
You can do that anyways, pretty much.
Well then, stop bitching. We'll plan a day.
Oh, we'll see about that. Mr. Personality, when do we join their culture and allow Ho nor illings? Honor killings? I mean, we could actually use that part of their culture, I guess, but we're not there quite yet. Counter-Searcher, Google Berlin car burning statistic. Berlin car burning statistic. Deutlich mehr Autos in Berlin angesundt als im Vorjahr. Teslas are getting burned. In Berlin, Germans are deserting Elon Musk car maker in droves. Yes, by burning the cars. The Germans are burning shit. They're becoming more French every day. Warden Sisyphus. So, you could describe what happened in Austria as rape culture. You could. Most of the world still has a lot of rape culture, just not in the West. Bloodthirsty. Hey Art, I found a secret document from the left government. If it's a crescent, it's a present. But if it's a cross, is a toss. I hope you are well. I am well, thank you. For the time being, at least. The DCV Titan. Surprised the judge in still on top of the soil. It is a tragedy. Capital not here. In the olden days, public examples served multiple purposes. Deterrence was one of them, I'll bet. Yes, it was. And entertainment. We need to return to the age of colosseums. Krieger, there is a difference between the premeditated reveling in evil. No Lum Lum, no smelly feet.
What?
And the impulsive act towards evil. Doing it as a group and filming it is the former. Yes, it is absolutely premeditated. But it is premeditated because of the groupish intent. And Scorn. Scorn is filling up uncomfortably quickly. Sijar, use Grok. It'll tell you if it exists. From Leg 63, Heinlein is proven prophetic once again with how he describes society's collapse in Starship Troopers. At the very least, leashes for those boys. Yes, roaming gangs of young boys, beating and burning. Have you read Starship Troopers yet, Lum Lum?
No, I haven't watched it yet. I was gonna host a movie night in your server.
You must read, Lum Lum. Read!
I'll read it. I'll add it to my list of books that I can read for book club.
Krieger, for a lighter topic, I like the Sekitar robots. Remind me of the Castle-like Akir from the 3rd K, and I love those things. Would definitely change the paint scheme, though. Looks too Eldar. It looks Eldar. It looks gay, homosexual. We don't like that. Go later too. Sargon deceased. Play that checkpoint game more. Sargon has committed gender transitioning into a Mexican German, as evidenced. Boog, if Celestia is the god empress, which ponies would be her primarchs? Which race would be the Eldari? Would the dragons be orcs? Would changelings be nids? That's too many questions to be asked at once. The ponies... ponies? Pony lore? That's right, I did post another piece of pony art today.
Oh yeah, the Queen Chrysalis art.
There you go, chat. More pony art for you, since you're asking so nicely. She
It
was
is very
the,
good art.
It is very good art. Unironically, it is actually genuinely good art.
Are you gonna get Arch Pony drawn very good and not just meme art?
Not yet, no. We have to do what chat wants first, and chat still has like another 4 horses on their wish list.
I see.
Mason Miller. No art, I was saying oldest to newest so I could start at the beginning or play through the whole series. Newest to oldest means the playlist starts at the last episode. Does it? I don't know how playlist works. Just reverse it or something. I don't know. Don't playlists start at the beginning? Well, I don't know. The real Zartax. I would tell the Norse origin story of earthquakes to the Japanese. They would probably mess with them. The Japanese. WG101, another step towards the worst grudge GW has caused being stricken from the book. Grand Cathay Army is one more piece of evidence GW needs to squat AOS and restore fantasy battles to its rightful place. They do, but they never will. Mario Trujillo, Wild Wild West is the unintended 40k steampunk spin-off. It's that over the top while still being very entertaining. Wild Wild West is one of the best movies ever made. It is true. It is known. Black 917, Hail Archchrist, our Lord and Savior. Sorry I missed Sargon and just saw the Queen Chrysalis art. Nice! Monster Prom. See, chat appreciates a good pony. What? Draken, Arch, you snow eater, Star Sector. Eventually. I'll get to it. I promise. Sandu, may fear what you've done, Arch. Now, if someone gives you 10k, you'll have to either fly to them or fly them to you. Well, we'll have to come to me, of course, for the 10k handshake, but I'll fulfill my side of the bargain. Mercenary Exit 1, Paris? Sir Arch, my respect for you has gone up by 100 times. Paris? 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 Mr. Personality, can I get a link to this interview and $30 to the Spicy Curry Fund? No. It's on the BBC. I don't even know if I have a link anymore. I think I closed it. But it's on the BBC channel. You'll find it there.
Trick or treat. Can I sell your feet? I mean, you could go to your history tab.
I could, but there's far too much pornography there. Lum lum. Scarf the Strange. They keep confusing Tate the Chinless for masculinity.
Ignorant slut.
They do keep Well, that's the thing. The Tate brothers are the only ones out there presenting themselves as masculine influencers, and so that's where people will go because they're the only ones offering the product. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Hey, chat. I'll give you some feet art instead.
You ignorant slut.
There you go. No more ponies.
Oh, the art is so good.
Only feet. That artist did give me a lot of feet pics for some reason. But Elzartax, fine, smaller words. When you can feel what someone who is oppressing you feels, it will disgust you, assuming it isn't justified, since it's basically directly leading you to feel their entitlement. I suppose. I guess, but I think this is an awfully reversing way of saying it. MJ Bull 515. I am too old for Brosnan as the best Bond. Connery for the win. Dalton for being most book accurate. Lum, who's the best James Bond?
In my opinion, the one that was in what movie was that? GoldenEye.
That is correct, Lum. That is correct. That is indeed the best James Bond. It also had one of the best James Bond female villains, the crazy psycho bitch. Ah, best woman. Best woman. There truly is no woman better than the one that will actively try to kill you. That is best female. I think GoldenEye is responsible for a lot of my taste in women, incidentally.
So what you're saying is that your ideal woman is one that will stalk you and attempt to kill you?
Yes.
I see.
Vanilla Zartax, I'd rather die. Heck, I beat my wife would kill me if she knew the amount I've sent to you, lol. Also read your DM, Senile Bridge. I bet my wife. There you go.
You ignorant slut. I beat my wife.
Yes. Well, I had to read that twice. Like, that's a weird thing to admit in this context. But no, bet. There you go. No, she wouldn't. She'd understand. I am a good person. Sides, you only donate large amounts when you want something. The rest of the time, it's, 50 kroners. That's fine. That's entirely socially acceptable. And the rest of the time, when you want me to draw pin-up art, well, that's socially acceptable too. I'm sure the wife would enjoy the art, in fact. Black917, hi, Lum. Hashtag monster porn.
Hi.
It should be socially acceptable to beat wife, but only in certain circumstances and only with sticks of predetermined length and thickness. Loyal Jokester, congrats, Lum. You made it onto Stamford Bridge. Stam. Not Stanford. Stamford. M. Very important.
Stamford. It was completely by accident. I seen that Arch was alone, and I just decided to comment in chat.
Mr. Bob 7370, society today seems to be more about pulling people off the ladder rather than striving to go up the ladder. Women are just naturals at it and men not. Possibly. I have always brought people up the ladder, much to my detriment. Look at Lum, for example. Lum should be kicked off the ladder.
But Lum's a good fish.
Zero Firewater. For example, Disney has a far-left culture because the low-level people are leftists, and HR, even if the most base CEO that board will fire you since one, it's public, and two, the leftists outnumber. And also Helldivers 2 has the stink of Sony. I'll never go back there ever again, since one, Sony's woke, and two, censors to hell. That's not even mentioning... Hiccup. The woke official Discord. Bad balancing. It is bad balancing. The real Zartex, it depends on the woman. I've seen at least two command respect in a boys' classroom. One was motherly and kind, the other was ultra super strict. Zerifauti, you do realize that both the American left and right realize that the left has government-sanctioned violence, right? It's the reason why the Summer of Love was so bad. The cops protected the rioters. Oh yeah, absolutely. But that protection will and should eventually end as, well, Trump is in government right now. He should be making it so that attacking a Tesla means you have your ball snipped.
I mean, slowly things are going back to normal. They got rid of the BLM road in DC.
Oh,
slowly.
Good. Did you see the fat man ramming the Tesla, Lum?
I seen a fat man that was... he was apparently sticking his hand up his ass and was rubbing shit on a Tesla.
Lum, your filthy fetishes, whilst occasionally appreciated, doesn't involve everything. God help me.
What? But no, I didn't see the fat man ramming into a Tesla. The
This
fuck
one.
is that?
This one's pretty beautiful. And we.
What the fuck?
He's upset.
Did he have to build that himself because a regular fucking wheelchair wouldn't be able to hold his rotund fucking body?
Possibly. Like, the suspension on that thing is mad. Like, you can see how he bounces and wobbles. The suspension on that thing must be crazy. I love how relaxed he looks, too, as he drives towards it. Then he hits and whoomp. He seems so chill, and then he hits the car, and he almost bashes his head into the side.
It would have been a lot funnier if he hit his head on the car and then he just rolled over in pain. Oh, that would have been peak comedy there.
It would. It would literally be the meme of sticking a stick in the wheel of your own bike and like, why did Tesla do this to me? But sadly... Bunk. That is
It's too funny to be mad. Oh my god, that's too funny. I'm sure the Tesla only got like a scratch.
Mr. Wolfgram, I remember when I did maths in high school. We had a short but strict female teacher who took her job seriously. And if you'd stepped out of line, she would straighten you out. That is a good teacher, yes. Most next one, not caning forced mortal combat. A la Mad World. I wish I could join you. My hard drive just broke. You shouldn't break your hard drives. It's bad for you. Weird. Chance of sanctions on Tencent. Possibly, but not in the immediate future, I don't think. Miss next one. I'm sorry, Lum Lum. It's hard to babysit Arch.
It's okay. I know it's hard to babysit him.
Mas von Mad. News. Fish. Mume looks to have a graduation announcement stream scheduled. Mume?
Oh, it's a HoloLive girl. Well, we don't know if it's a graduation stream. All it says is an important announcement. Granted, a lot of people will just think that she's leaving HoloLive. But who knows? Could be an indefinite hiatus. It could be a graduation. It could be a, hey, look it, she's doing a concert. Who knows?
Lum Lum, why do these hoes only last like a couple months at most? Or years?
I mean, she's been in HoloLive since, I think, 2021, I believe.
4 years. That's basically an old hag by YouTube, VTuber standards.
It's like a lot of girls are starting to leave HoloLive because after they went public with trading and everything, management is changing. How they want to do content is changing. They don't want the girls to be online personalities and doing games. They want them to do more concerts and everything. They want more. They want a product more than a personality.
Well, sure, but they're already, public items. Why not? They must be earning pretty well.
It's like they are earning fairly well, but because, they started bringing in investors because, they are now public on the stock market and everything. And we started seeing some fuckery with, BlackRock has very small shares in there, but some subsidiaries of BlackRock also have shares. So I don't know what's going on in upper management and the investors, but it can't be good. Some of the girls said that they are not agreeing with management and the direction of the company. And at that point, to them, it's not worth staying. We can only speculate what's happening. We'll never have a definitive answer.
I basically view it as another feist of only fanning anyway, so I guess it's fine if they all perish.
I mean, they're not doing not safe for work stuff. There is a VTuber agency that does do solely not safe for work stuff. Well, not solely, but the majority of their content is.
Oh, good. Let's bring them on instead. Chat, replace Lum Lum with NSFW Lum Lum?
No. Plus, I think most of them would hate your guts because
Why?
they're very lefty.
Wait, how can you be lefty and safe horny? Disgusting. Insane hippie saying Wild Wild West was a terrible movie, an insult to the original TV show. Oh, yeah, well, insult probably, yes, but it's a great movie. It's an amazing movie. Wild Wild West is like the best movie. Random Ramblem Researcher Arch, how much months to get you and Sargon to react to creator Jack Thorne's reveal the deep truth behind adolescence? I don't know. I'll have to put it in the Arch and Sargon room on the Discord and then either bribe the shit out of me or hope that I randomly pick it. Those are your options. It's not fair, but those are the options. Firewater, this suicide thing has become known for at least a decade. I remember this being talked about in America in 2015, 2016. No one cared, and we're talking about it still. Well, it's not that nobody cared, necessarily. It's that we don't have the answer. The suicides are being caused by a lack of masculinity, and that means that we need to have a long, hard look at feminism for causing it. And we don't want to do that, and so it doesn't get fixed, and so the problem persists. And since we can't solve the key problem, feminism, we will simply just keep talking about it, because nothing else can be done so long as we are unwilling to face the actual issue. Women are the problem. We should repeal the 19th and the equivalent in every country and just solve the problem. Perhaps. So Firewater, the more rights women have, the worse society gets. And the more men get oppressed, the birth rates crash. Then the gates get open to immigrants that replace the population. How could Lum Lum do this to everyone?
Hey, I want to give up my rights. I don't want them.
But she could just be saying this for sympathy.
No, I want them gone. I don't want the responsibility of fucking voting. Give my vote to Mooseman so he could choose for me. I don't care. I could stay home. I don't want to leave anyway.
Scarfy the Strange, can we get a Space King lore video? No. I should still watch that at some point, but God... It's something that people want now, and I'm always a little upset when I give people what they want.
What are people for asking for now?
They want me to watch the Space King YouTube thingy.
I don't know what the Space King YouTube thingy is. Trick or treat. Can I smell your feet?
Lum Lum doesn't even know, chat. Black 917, the best female villain is the one that will kill you with her legs. Thighs, technically, while you're inside her. Arch 2025. Kind of, yeah. Kind of. I see nothing wrong with this statement. I don't think chat sees either. John Smith, look at the fat electrician video on the raisin cartel sometime. America, a government cartel for raisins for 70 years to touching my hand fund. Right, he's going to start building that up $5 at a time. And finally, Firewater, Trump hasn't done much because of these leftist judges blocking him, and Supreme Court being giant cowards and not taking a stance, so the judges get away with it right now. That is true. Trump is currently getting blocked in by a lot of judges who believe that they have justified reasons to block his various executive orders. We'll see, as that will then need to make their way through the justice system, which is going to take for absolute ever, of course. And by the time it actually does manage to get through the entire justice system, Trump will probably just not be president anymore. Such is life. Sadness. Seriously, there's probably a genuine idea in the left right now that they could probably just block everything Trump does for 4 years with judicial cock blocking, and then just dissolve it when they get back into office.
Maybe, but also that could be a reason why Trump is just like rapid firing just like things that he signed, because it's like he's gonna make such a backlog they're eventually gonna have to just push things through. You might be banking on that.
Possibly. I do hope that he does get something done, because he's been far more aggressive this time around, which is good. But he clearly still has a lot of blockers in the system.
I think it might take till, honestly, midterms. Because if he can turn the tide a little bit during midterms, we might be able to push some more things through.
Possibly. I hate this day in my life trend thing that has happened on Twitter. It fills up my feed now, and I hate it.
Oh, the original video is so fucking stupid. Oh my fucking god. I watched it on Friday on another podcast I was on. The most retarded thing I've ever fucking seen in my life.
There's too many of them. It has become a trend. I hate trends.
It'll go away by Monday.
It probably will. It probably actually will. But hey, the people that make that bottled water in the blue flask are very happy, so...
It's expensive fucking water. For 6 bottles, it's almost $50.
Damn. Why?
Because it's fancy water. I don't know. I could just, like, get water out of my sink.
Most people can get water out of their sink. I don't understand the bottled water thing.
I don't know. It's stupid. It's like, oh no, this water is from a glacier over in Antarctica. Each one is just a drip straight from the ice. No processing or anything, guys. I don't care.
Actually, they don't even get it from Antarctica. It's a big fat lie. It's just nonsense. It's just nonsense. Because you don't want to have water from Antarctica. It's bad. And it's filled with like ancient parasites and stuff. TV has told me this. Actually,
okay.
There's a TV show called The Last Ship.
Mm-hmm.
In the TV show, The Last Ship, you have that guy from Grey's Anatomy, Dr. Handsome or McSteamy or whatever the fuck they called him, who's saving Earth with a boat.
Oh, Arch, I just seen this was posted over on Twitter. Here you go.
Now what? Jennifer Solke out of Amazon Studios rings the power. Fallout raise questions. Amazon limited studio head position entirely. Well, chop off one head, another will grow in its turn, I'm sure.
I mean, if they got rid of the position entirely, we could hope, we could pray that somehow the Rings of Power is just canceled, and then we don't have to deal with it anymore.
I doubt it. I very much so doubt it. That thing will plague us for the full 5 seasons, I have no doubt.
I just still can't get over the fact that, oh, we're doing a big old time skip, guys. It's like, I don't... Can we skip to the end?
I guess that's what they're kind of doing. Sort of.
I have not seen anything else to yap about that looks too interesting that we can't just talk about on Saturday.
Until they hire a big straight white man at Amazon, I have no hope for them. They are silly people, and they shall be treated as silly people. And now I can go and eat food. Oh, no, I can't. Stop. YouTube. No, not now. I'm so close.
Trick or treat. Can I smell your feet?
I wonder if they'll ever fix this YouTube bug, or if they just don't care, or if their servers are just permanently on fire now.
I mean, until they give up the fight on ad blockers, I don't think they give a shit.
Yeah, they're probably running like 500 gigabytes worth of fucking shit in the background just to try and stop the ad blockers, aren't they? Oh, fucking bitches. I hate them. Mr. Wolfgram, praise be to Space King. Scarf of the Strange, Lumi react. Lumi with a Y. React to Space King. Black 917, he also started to call for their impeachment for overreach as well. Now the first judge he did this with only got away because one act isn't enough to establish a pattern. Monster problem. Is that how that works? But it has
you're showing your screen.
Bruh?
On stream, Arch, you're showing your back end.
Why?
I don't know.
Oh, there's nothing interesting there anyways.
Ugh.
Why? Why did it switch over to that silly YouTube thing? Anyways, this is what the back end of YouTube looks like. Have fun. Actually, this is a good time to insert an ad. There. Blind 17, but it has put both that judge and his conspirators on notice now that the administration will fight back. And if they keep up a clear pattern of corruption, will be established with a paper trail. That is true. Damn. Well, I'm glad it didn't show my screen with a horse porn on it. That would have been embarrassing.
Oh yeah, we wouldn't want to slip up. At least you're not showing your tabs, and then there ends up being something suspect there.
What's the most suspect tab here? It's Law Dem Rangs with the fat man. Yeah, there isn't really anything particularly suspect here, honestly. There's Claymore. Claymore's pretty good. Everybody should read Claymore.
Yes.
Ah, this one's funny. There's another tab which has a manga about a washed-up idol. Basically, it's the life of Lum Lum in 10 more years.
Wow, thanks.
Yeah, welcome. Blight 917, this and that lasts for Monster Prom. I shall add that to Monster Prom. And Real Sartex, why does the senile bridge forget parts of supers? Because I read the first part, and then that's what my brain reacts to and remembers and stuff. And then the rest falls out. This should be a lesson to you to not ask multiple things in the same super chat. I will forget. This isn't my problem. It's your problem. I can probably take that away there. There you go. Grey's Anatomy is a little bit of a good TV show to begin with, and then rapidly gets really bad.
I've never liked medical dramas. The only one that I like is House, but one that I recently got into, it's called The Pit. It is so fucking good. It is one of the most accurate medical shows that are out there. A lot of EMTs and ER nurses love watching it.
The Pit.
Yes. It's like each episode is 1 hour of the work shift. So the entire season is just 1 day in their shift.
I'll
We'll
have
have
to
to
check
watch
it out.
it sometime.
Well, it hasn't finished airing its first season yet.
Episode 13 should be out tonight. So in about 2 weeks, the first season should be done.
Good. I'll torrent it then. And 05 to Arch, you said you'd watch Space King months ago. Watch it now. Oh, yeah. Arch hates commitments. Doesn't like it, he does. I'll see what I can do. Wait. Tori. Factory. Where are you, Tori?
Why are you gonna bully Tori now? She hasn't gotten her computer yet.
I know, but that's not my problem. I just told her to make a Space King thumbnail. That way, it's not my problem if I forget or never do it. It's Tori's problem.
Fair enough.
Stupid little Australian broke her fucking PC. There you go, chat. It's in the queue now. It will happen eventually. Be patient, little chatters. Or else.
It's just like how we're waiting for Wani. You're just waiting for the thumbnail art.
That, and we're waiting for me to want to. Which might take a while as well. Now, I have food to eat. This is very important. We'll see you all again next week with Sargon, where he will reprise his role as the person I occupied in my ancient past and now can't get over the fact that he's a slave caste in his own country. And no Lum Lum, because Lum Lum is dangerous to Sargon.
But Lum Lum behave.
Lum Lum has never behaved as far as I've known Lum Lum.
Lum Lum knows how to behave.
Not even theoretically. Until then, chat. And until ArchCast, which will be this week. Yes, on Saturday or something.
Yeah.
Where there will be a Lum Lum after watching Adolescence. And there will be an Amalgamite too, because there's a song she likes in that series, and I wanted to hurt her with its presence. Maybe even Dev will show up, chat. Imagine that.
Don't threaten people. God, that's rude.
Until then, chat, have a good day. Thank you very much for watching, and thank you for very generous donations, as always. Good night, chat.